5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train on the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
Thank you very much for that amazing introduction. Everybody, good morning to you. Today is the day that the Lord has made. We are going to rejoice and be glad in it, because that's what we do every single day right here at Paleocrat Diaries. I'm your host, Jeremiah Bannister. It is Wednesday, November 11th. It's Wednesday. And good morning to all of you, by the way, all across the world. I would say all across the nation, but there's a whole bunch of you guys who are listening and tuning in from all different countries all across the world. And it's awesome to see it. I absolutely love it. I love it. And we have a great comment section, by the way. We absolutely do. In fact, why did I even take that out of there? I'm going to drop this bugger right back up here. And we're just going to go real quick, just so that you can see. Just so that you can see it right there, okay? So no matter where you are, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Periscope, wherever you are, D-Live, doesn't matter. I guess we're on MeWe. I didn't know that. I did not know that we were on MeWe. I found that out yesterday. I was told by the manager, Jonathan, who is the man, by the way, over at Holy Faith Media. If you're not subscribed to Holy Faith Media, that's the network that I'm part of. Okay, so this is an independent show, and yet at the same time, it's a network of independent programs, okay? So we're all over there, Holy Faith Media. In fact, if you want to donate to the show during the show, if you want to donate money during the show, we had a couple days ago, we had one for like $10 and one for $5. It was awesome, and it shows up on the screen. It's where the comments are. It's normally a big color, so it'd be like yellow or blue or whatever. Stands out from everything else, and that way we can know what's going on. It says how much money you donated. If you want to do that, you can't do it at my site yet, right? Paleocrat. Not yet. We're almost there. We're like 80% there. We're doing good, guys. But if you want to do that, you're going to have to comment and do a super chat over at Holy Faith Media. There might be a couple other places, but that's the one, right? Go there if you want to donate. Otherwise, doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be on Facebook. You could be anywhere. And as evidence of this, we'll just go ahead real quick and we'll read a couple of these just so that you can get a feel for it. And by the way, you see the little icons here on the left. It says YouTube. Another one says Facebook. Okay, going down. I don't know what Facebook page it's from. I don't know what YouTube channel it's from. It's from one of the many that we happen to be on. We're on like 20 different channels at the same time. I'm all over the place, guys. I'm all over the place. And so, right here, Seth Troutner, love your show. Nice work, Jerry. You're one of the only people I'm down with calling me Jerry anymore. For people who don't know, man, that was what people called me growing up. My mom hated it. My mom absolutely hated it. People would call the house and ask if Jerry was home, and she'd be like, I'm sorry, you've got the wrong number. But we go back a long way. In fact, Seth is the guy. First time I ever heard Yanni. And Yanni, I love Yanni's music, man, not going to lie. Got to see Yanni in concert. It was totally awesome. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. So, okay, down here, Bethany, howdy. And she's always got fun emojis, man. She's got a cowboy. She got a cowboy. I like that, by the way. I need a good cowboy hat. You know what I'm saying? I need a good cowboy hat, especially now that I'm playing Wild West with activism and stuff like that. I'm like, I've had it, guys. I have had it. I feel like the dude from, Red Dead Redemption a little bit. I kind of feel that way, that I've been put in a predicament that I don't necessarily want to be in, but, it's just going to have to, some people are going to have to drop like flies. That's just going to be what's going to happen. And politically, of course, I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying and be like, oh my gosh, what is Jeremiah talking about? Give me a break. Oh, speaking of my mother, right there. I love you too, by the way. Yeah, a little nice emoji with the I love you. Definitely pumped. That's on Facebook, on YouTube. Brian Parker. Coffee's ready. Team Parker is tuning in straight to the dome. Let's go. Yeah. Teresa Nelson, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. I'm so happy, by the way. People are asking if we're going to D.C. We're going to talk about that. You know, because people want to know. People want to know, are you going to D.C., man? Are you going to cover this? I want to. Man, we've been searching like crack fiends in the carpet and the couches, trying to find quarters and pennies, bottles. And we're like, are we going to bring these things back? Because it costs money. So if you want to contribute to that cause, it's a possibility. I can't even promise. It's a possibility. There's a lot of different factors going on. We got a bunch of kids, which would be great. I think they should be there. I think it's a historical moment. But we got a dog, man. We got a St. Bernard. On top of that, we got 2 cats. We got 2 kind of big fat cats, too. So they need to be fed constantly. I'd hook them up to an IV, but I've been told that's not wise. Say, look, they want to eat all the time. So we got that. There's things we got to do. Plus, I've got a Friday the 13th show for Paleo Cheese. And if you don't know what Paleo Cheese is, I updated yesterday. I'm late sometimes at the website, paleocratdiaries.com. But I updated, it was like 5 posts yesterday, including my appearance, my post-election appearance on Meaning of Catholic, as well as not the most recent edition of Paleo Cheese, but we reviewed, we had a really great guest too, Jack Capisi. He's amazing, man. And from the Final Guys, right? So we're super pumped about him. He's a really fun person. And we reviewed the movie An American Werewolf in London. Kind of a weird movie, not for kids, maybe not for, everybody, obviously. But we do reviews of things that are on the fringes sometimes, right? Just in the canon of movie making history. And so we do that sometimes. And sometimes that involves movies that may not always have, might have some stuff in there. And I try to let parents know because I take that very seriously and I let people know. Last comment before we move on. Jorge, he says he's listening from Saudi Arabia. Oh, I may as well throw this in. Joseph Gilligan. Hi, from Glasgow, Scotland, Great Britain. Yes, man. Top of the morning to both of y'all. Well, I don't know. It wouldn't be morning time. What time is it over there in Saudi Arabia? What time is it on Saudi Arabia? Oh, my gosh, man. Yeah. So that's the whole point, though, right? That's what I'm getting at here. So the thing is, let me go back to this main banner. Let me make sure I can do this. There we go. So we've got a whole bunch of things to talk to you guys about today. Okay? We got a whole bunch to talk to you about today. And of course, we're going to focus a lot on the election because the lamestream media, totally fake media, is just, it's a foregone conclusion, right? The way that they talk about it. These people are so phony baloney, man. And anyone who watches this show, you guys know it. We show video after video. We don't speculate very often, ever. And if there's news where it's like, well, I can't confirm this or I can't confirm that yet, I normally try not to even talk about it. I try to only limit myself to those things that you'll be able to actually see or you'll be able to read or you can hear, like the Detroit leaks and stuff like that you'd be able to hear as well as to see, because they put captions on and everything. And so you sit there and you're like, that's what I try to limit myself to. These media people, man, it's ridiculous. The way that they talk about this the entire election, it's almost as though, number one, it's almost as though the bazillion videos that are floating around right now, that we've shown many of these, that document people filling in the dots, moving the pages, filling in the dots, moving some more, or throwing them away, right? Ripping them up, lighting them on fire. Doesn't matter. However it's done. People carrying in bags late at night in the Ferrari, nobody there to watch, nobody there to show any kind of, line of custody or whatever. You have nothing. And the media goes, none of it's real. But we know because we don't live with blinders on. We do not do that. We do not live with blinders on, especially those people who go and subscribe and become members over at paleocratdiaries.com. They are always, always, always up to date with what is going on. So, speaking of being up to date, we're going to just do this real quick. Let's see. Got to do my circle. Got to do the. Oh no, I don't want to do the circle. I have a couple different screens. You know what I'm saying? And so like I have this. I'm the guy, not only the one on the microphone, and this kind of bums me out a little, right? I wish that I had this staff that was downstairs. They're all upstairs, man. They're all in the tower. And a couple members of my staff, they had to go back to school. It really breaks my heart. I love those little guys and girl, you know, but Ambrose, Teresa, the two of them, they had to go back. Athen, though, he is still at home. He's still doing the home thing with his class, okay, over at Sacred Heart. But that's what, you know, that's the reason why we do it. But it'd be great if we had his staff that would be able to be down here pushing the buttons for me. That way, all I got to do is focus on being mega dope in a microphone. I did that for a long time on radio. You know what I'm saying? I had a producer. I had somebody there. I had people working in the tech room when I was on TV. I didn't have to deal with that. I just had to be the pizzazz. That's all I had to be. It's a lot easier to do it that way. So now I got to actually be like, oh, well, what screen am I going to switch over to? Derp. Technology, man. Technology. So, okay. As a reminder, as theredelephants.com, Sasha O'Connor over there said, it's time to wear your MAGA hat. It most definitely is. Originally, when I was doing the show, my buddy Chad, we had a conversation about it, actually. You know, because he's, you know, we disagree over stuff. A lot of things, actually. And, but we're super duper close. We're buddies, man. And he told me, he said, I know you wear the hat and stuff. He's like, but, you know, don't you think that if you wear that and people tune in and they see that it might be, you know, counterproductive in a way that your reach won't be as big kind of thing? And that more people would be like, he's wearing that hat. I'm out. I don't even need to listen to what he says. He's got a point, though. He's got a point. But we are where we are right now. Look, under ordinary circumstances, okay, I got you. Under the circumstances of, you know, tons of dead people coming back to life to vote for Joe Biden, animals voting for Joe Biden, tons of people switching out votes, filling in names, throwing away ballots, and the media saying that none of it is happening, and Wikipedia changing the description of, and this is going to be hilarious, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what Wikipedia did. Those scoundrels, man. They are scoundrels, evil, wicked people over there. It's all like, don't look. It's a magic trick. Oh, man, they changed the whole thing to do with president-elect. They had to, right? For the message. It wasn't consistent with the message that they're trying to do to prop up, you know, Mr. Biden. And so the thing is that during this time, we need to resolve that we are, in fact, going to wear this hat. There are, 71 million historic proportions of people who voted. And you know what's weird? Where's the accusations, by the way, of a whole bunch of Trump people engaged in the fraud? Where's that? Where are all of the Detroit leaks that are made of people who are Trump supporters teaching people how to make it so that watchers can't see? Nowhere. So wear this thing with pride. Do not be afraid anymore. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's just a PSA, guys. Because we need to do stuff like this. This is what we need to do. We need to basically make it so that everywhere they go, everywhere they try to hide, they simply cannot get away. They can't. And we make that happen every single weekday from 10 to noon right here. Oh, and what's this? What's this? Oh, and this is why.
I just told him I've got to come over and see the fake news. Let's go. What do you have?
Exactly, because that's what we need to be doing. We need to make sure, oh, there's fake news over here. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Get those kids. Let's go talk to the fake news. Let's go show them who is boss. Let's go show them why they're wrong and why we don't need them anymore. We got a lot to talk about with that. But before we do, we always have fun. We always have fun. I don't like starting off too long talking about politics. I got people who are like, oh, come on, man. I just want the funny stuff, dude. And that's okay. It's okay, man. I think it's like 35% probably. Let's just say 1 out of 3. Let's just call it, that. 1 out of 3 people who are tuning in. They're Johnny Q, Sally Sue from Main Street and Flyover Country. They wake up and have their Bob Evans sausage and stuff. A big old glass of some milk and some, toast next to it and some eggs. maybe some cereal, 2 scoops, Raisin Bran kind of thing, and they got to go to work. And they've got a difficult day, man. They've got all sorts of crazy things going on. And because they do, they want to wake up and they're already dealing with the hardships, right? They've got a lot of responsibilities in life because they're responsible people. And because they're responsible people, they're engaged every day, trying to be productive, trying to leave that mark in the world that says we were here and we did a great job. And they want to do that, and they're hearing politics everywhere. They're inundated. Maybe they're inundated by it. They're on social media maybe, and so they're hearing it all the time, and it upsets them. And they say, man, I just want to go somewhere, and I just want to hear if wine can sit in a cellar for decades, then this week-old coffee table beer is fine. Like, that's what they want to hear. They want to hear about the animal uprising. That's the closest to politics maybe they want to get. Other than that, man, they're just ordinary people, and that is perfectly fine because this show is for the everyday person, man. It is. We are here for the little people. I don't know what just happened. My wife came down and told me it froze. We can deal with this, guys. It's just a bump in the road, and I apologize for that. Not entirely sure why that happened. I have this thing on OBS that says, oh, it's in the green, oh, it's in the yellow, oh, it's in the red. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it does, and I don't know exactly why. It's going up and down and up and down. What's going on with that, man? Because now it's back to 471, then up to 1719, then 25, 26. It's all over the place, man. I'm telling you. It's all about big tech, dude. New World Order's coming at me. I start talking about Nazi Jews. Next thing you know, it's freezing up on me. Going crazy. Looking like a strobe light down at the bottom of OBS. I apologize sincerely. And look, if it does that, it's just a thing. Stick around. I promise. We ain't going anywhere. I promise. Oh my gosh, man. Unbelievable. Yeah. Major time issues. But look, if wine can sit in a cellar for decades, then this week-old coffee table beer is fine. What do you guys think about that, by the way? If you've been in a situation where you're sitting there and you got beer on the table, crack it open, and it's been open, you drink a little bit out of it, or pop, right? You drink some Slurm, and it's sitting on the table, and it's there for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, we ain't even playing around, guys. Oh, how do you do this, man? You guys, it's so funny, man, because we were talking about, let's make it really funny so that people going through a hard time, that they're able to just simply laugh. Now, you guys can laugh at me. You can laugh at me. That is perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. Yeah, you can hear it? Yes. Oh, my wife yells down the steps. I can hear it. I know. I know. The thing is, when the internet was acting up, all of a sudden the sound is completely gone. All of a sudden we lose like 18 different people. What the blazes? I'm telling you, big time conspiracy. You start talking about stuff that's pretty risky business. Next thing you know, the puppet masters are coming for you. That's certainly what it is. It's certainly what it is. There might, in fact, be some kind of animals, these animals outside that have figured out. They're like, dude, that is the house that belongs to the guy talking about the uprising. We're getting him. Take down his internet. Make it so that he... What should I do? There we go. We're going to hope that this is working. We're just going to have to simply hope that this is working. Won't be able to keep doing this. We actually have our tech on it right now. Seems like it's an internal problem. The problem is the computers upstairs are perfectly fine, but the internet down here is not fine. It is not fine at all. And yes, technical difficulties, man. This is literally the worst. I've never had anything like this happen ever. Never, ever, never. Never. How do you even edit this stuff out, man? This is going on private. Like as soon as it's over, it's going on private. We're going to make clips out of each and everything and share them and say, nothing happened. That was bad. Nothing happened at all. Oh my gosh, dude. I guess we just didn't have a show today. Nobody would have known. It's amazing because you can see the drop off. Boom, 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 boom. You can see we had numbers that were just booming. And then next thing you know, blam, 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 blam. People peeling out, going away, gone. Let people know we are on. Let them know that we are. Now every time I see this little red box on OBS, it's freaking me out. I'm like, oh no, is it going to happen again? Please say no. Please, Lord. Why? Why? And why in the world would a wife share a husband's annoying bathroom habit? Does that bother you? Does that bother you? It's one thing to say, look, I have a bad bathroom habit, right? If you're the husband, and it's typically the husband, and it's typically the wife that's going to share this kind of crap online. She's going to go, oh my gosh, look at what my husband does. Look how annoying and gross this is. Ah. Sheila says, yeah, right here. It's that darn iguana on the power line. Hang in there. That's from yesterday, by the way. Sheila, yeah. I'm glad you guys are along with me. I hope I didn't sound like Yosemite Sam. I was mad. Blah, 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 blah. Yelling. Oh, I love you guys. Oh, I love you. This is a family-friendly show. I really hope I wasn't pulling a Yosemite Sam, dude, on that microphone. Oh, man, dude, that was tough. But yes, it's probably iguanas on the line. But see, here's the thing. Wife shares husband's annoying bathroom habit. This is by Amelia Ward. Okay, I don't think I've ever seen anything by Amelia. Oh, and here's the bad habit, guys. Okay, ladies, tell me. right here. Do you guys hate this? Do you ladies? Do you hate that? And do your husbands do stuff like that? My wife is always telling me, she's like, you always leave the towel on the ground. I did until the cats started doing the little, spraying on it and stuff. That really bothered me very, very badly. It's like they smell it and they're like, oh, we think we need to mark this. This is our territory. And you're like, dude, what the heck, man? So, I would go in the bathroom, getting ready for a cold shower, doing my Wim Hof breathing, laying on the ground, getting into the moment and stuff. And I sit there and all of a sudden, man, I'm smelling like right in my nose. And I'm thinking, oh, dang, son. I think the cat peed. Where did he pee? I'm looking all over. It's the towels. It actually got me in the habit of, I don't know, being a much better husband when it comes to doing, taking care of towels and stuff. This husband, on the other hand, is doing a very, very bad job. A woman shared a photo that has been described as the most relatable post of the year. Probably. It probably is, by the way. The Australia woman posted an image of a scrunched up towel on Facebook. Hundreds of people have come forward to say that their partner does the exact same thing. And look at this. People sharing these different pictures, saying my husband does that. See, I've always been the kind of person that at least tries to fold it up, not just scrunch and push, I don't do that. This guy's looking like they're shoving it in. They're like, oh, just wad it up and scrunch it. It's like that age-old debate, though. Are you a crumpler or are you a folder when it comes to, toilet paper and stuff? It's an age-old debate, guys. It's an age-old debate, and, crumpling definitely wins. That's folding, dude. What? It's like using a slippery slide or a rain slicker. What are you doing that for? You need the friction, man. One person said, my hubby does that with every single towel in the house, hand towels, dish drying towels, you name it. It blanks me off. Really, she's really mad. A second wrote, my husband hangs washing like this. Really? Why? Okay, so he's washing stuff, and then he just crumples it up and shoves it. Give me a break, dude. Give me a break. What the heck, man? Who's doing that, by the way? And where did she post this, dude? Where did this lady post this? Does it say? I guess it wouldn't be on TikTok. It'd have to be on Facebook. Okay, I got you. Facebook is starting to feel a little bit MySpacey, if you know what I mean. How many people, by the way, in this audience, how many of you guys have just booked it out of Dodge when it comes to Facebook? How many of you have given up on Facebook and said, I'm just done. I'm through with it? Or that you have rebranded everything you do to say, all I'm ever going to do is be in an event page with my family or something. And that way, or the school, and that way if there's an update, and unfortunately they're using that platform still, that you keep it. What have you guys done? What have you guys done? Heather in the comment section says, OMG, I have to fold my towel over the rack or hang it up on the rack long ways. That would drive me insane. Yes, Heather. That wouldn't it? If somebody's doing the scrunchy thing and shove it and push, and it doesn't take but a second, does it, guys? Look, I'm trying to be a good example to the dudes. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be a good example, Heather. More guys need to tune in. Because if they did, they would know the proper way to take care of some of this stuff. And look, I am not the best example when it comes to doing other things. Believe me, my wife has stories. But when it comes to stuff, like that, guys, we got to do better. We got to do better. Bethany says, I'm not leaving Facebook till they kick me off. Look, I don't mean to be rude, Bethany, but it's okay. It's not there yet, but it is going to get to the place where it really does. It's going to feel more like, hanging around on MySpace. I did that on purpose. I actually was one of those people that did hang around on MySpace for a long time, but that's because I was writing poetry every night. And I'm assembling, by the way, a collection of my poetry, my prose, and speculative fiction. And I'm going to be publishing that and making it available for members at paleocratdiaries.com. I'm even going to include some new ones. Gonna crunch out some new poetry. The thing is, I was on MySpace. I'll just tell you this real quick. I was on MySpace, right? And I'm sitting there every night, and I'm smoking cloves, right? Trying to do the cool thing, smoking some cloves, drinking, what was that really, really fancy beer? What was it called? Camel Black Ice? I was, man, right? Oh, boy. I was drinking that, smoking cloves, cranking out a bunch of this kind of really emotional and nostalgic and super hyper romantic poetry and stuff and publishing it on MySpace because I thought nobody's going to MySpace to see it. Lo and behold, a bunch of ladies at school come up to me. There's like, 5 or 6 of these ladies. They come up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, you're the emperor of ice cream. And I thought, oh my gosh, you're reading my Facebook poetry. That was my name on MySpace. I didn't want my real name on there. I was trying to hide it. And somehow they figured it out and they loved it. They were like, oh my gosh, you're our favorite, man. Your poetry is so beautiful. Oh, it makes me cry. Oh man, my heart, blah, blah, blah. They loved it, man. They loved it. In fact, they loved it so much I told them they could submit because they wanted me to submit my stuff to a book. It was a intercollegiate book that has poetry and speculative fiction, has art in there, all sorts of stuff like that. And I said, no way, Jose. No way, Jose. I didn't want to do anything with that. I said, I didn't even want you guys knowing I was there. I'm going home and I'm shutting down MySpace forever. It's over. It's done. I was brokenhearted. I'm like, where am I going to go to hide to do my poetry stuff? They ended up submitting. I said, you submit. You pick the ones you like. You submit your favorite poems to this place. You go ahead and do it. You select them. And they did. And I won a bunch of money. I have the book, by the way. Yeah, I've been there like 9 times. The people who did the editing, they had no idea. They had no idea. They're like, who's Jeremiah Bannister? Because it's double blind or whatever. So when it was over, they're seeing Jeremiah Bannister, Jeremiah Bannister, Jeremiah Bannister. So, wow, who's this guy? I don't know. I've never even heard of him. I think he's in the journalism department. Yeah. And it was crazy. Last thing I'll say about it is funny. Because, to excite you a little bit, it's worth it, man. Believe me, you're going to like the book. You'll like the collection of poems. But the thing is that we get invited over to the president of the school's house, and they have, media's there, and people are asking questions and stuff of all the different people who participated and all the different people who won. And they were asking questions, what's your method, man? Who are the poets that really inspired you? And at the time, I didn't have many that really inspired me. In fact, at the time, the last poetry book I had, I think, was written by the singer Jewel. It might have been my only poetry book I ever owned. Other than that, it was just, poetry that I'd read while in school and stuff like that. But I understood the mechanics of it. I understood how to write it. It's one of those things that, I didn't learn it from many other people. But ever since, now I love poetry. Especially the classics. Oh, man. Especially the classics. Yeah. It's okay. Men, you got to do better. It's just a fact. Washington State, what's this all about? What the heck is this? Washington State cat hitches 2,500-mile ride to Alaska. Dude, isn't Alaska still in that weird, funky place with some of the votes? This might be what was going on. The cat, we already know the cat's, what is the name, Mr. Timms? What was his first name, man, yesterday, that cat? Cody Timms. Cody Timms apparently was wanting to vote. Okay, so we know cats are voting. We know that dogs have voted, service dogs. We already know that. I bet they went for Trump. Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, right. We know which way this is going. And so this cat, and look, this cat is looking mega busted, dude. He's like really bummed out. But see, they got him in a cage. They know what's going on. They know what's going on. They're like, look, we're glad you're back home, but we know you're up to some shenanigans, going to Alaska, probably trying to communicate, with the leaders over there to ensure a Biden victory. Probably, you scoundrel. You scoundrel. Although, in fairness, I've said that the cats, by and large, might in fact be on our side. And looking at these people, they look a little shady. You don't know. You don't know. Oh, boy. You don't know. So we got to figure this out. But it's okay. A Washington State couple's cat went on an incredible journey when he wandered into a shipping container and ended up at a Home Depot store 2,500 miles away in Alaska. Really? Well, we know Home Depot is part of the New World Order. We do, don't we? I mean, we do know. Home Depot, man, they were one of the first ones on the agenda, man, to take down the English language. They were like, oh, no. No, we don't want English to be the official language. They started putting signs all over their store. We know it. We know they're into the, all of the SJW corporate crap. We know it. Which is a bummer, by the way. Christina and Josh Clevenger said their tuxedo cat, Panda. there's some weird crap going on. Number one, a tuxedo cat. Why in the world is a cat wearing a tuxedo? I don't understand this. Maybe you guys have the answers. Why in the world? I don't even know. I'm sorry, guys. I don't even know if I even believe you guys anymore, because none of you had the answer for the question of the day, which is hilarious. The question of the day. You would win a book, by the way. You'd win a book from the great Paleocrat Diaries, the Paleocrat library here. It originally was part of Paleo Radio. I had a bunch of books. They were in there. So it's part of the box, right? That's the old radio show I was with. So it's a hangover, but there's a whole bunch of books you can pick from them. In fact, may even throw in some cards, some sports cards, as well as a letter handwritten from our family to you. But you didn't answer the question. What do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? So if you can't answer it, you can't even give it a shot. What do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? If you're struggling with that, I don't know if you're going to give me the answer as to why in the world Panda the cat needs to wear a freaking tuxedo. I'm sorry, guys. You let me down. What am I going to do? What am I going to do with you guys? Oh, man. Okay. If you've got an answer, by the way, if you have an answer to that question, what do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? If you got an answer, send it to paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. All right. What the heck? What is this? Statue compared to cartoon character after repair work. Have you guys seen the restoration pictures? They do them for paintings too, where there's like really these amazing paintings, right? Or they're religious images like icons and stuff like that. And they're like, we really need you to update it. There were some issues, wear and tear and time and stuff like that. And they get it back, and it's the dumbest looking crap you've ever seen. Like this. What did it originally look like? Oh. Okay, so here's the original, guys, right here. Oh. What the heck is wrong with these people, man? What the heck is wrong with them? Okay, so here's how does these people even have jobs, man? How do they have jobs? Because look at this. Look at the face. Look at the eyes, man. They're like way up in the forehead, dude. No, it's not even close. Ecce Homo Jesus Fresco in Borja, Spain. Or is it Borja? Which was given a less than flattering restoration by a well-meaning but very out of her depth cleaner. Why would you eat? You're like, oh, look, hey, would you like to come and, restore this really important fresco? Would you like to do that? Oh, yeah. Do you have any experience? No. Well, are you well-meaning? Yes, of course. I would love to do a good job. Fine. You're totally hired. Let's go. What's wrong with these people? They get what they paid for. They get what they deserve, by the way. Sharing their views about the sculpture online, one resident said, "It makes me want to cry. It's terrible. And to think of all the great artists we have." Oh my gosh, dude. Look at that. Look at the eyes. Look at those eyes. And the lips, dude. That's unbelievable. I mean, what person, in reality, what person would even be willing to do this? Did they hire their, a relative? What the heck is wrong with these people, man? I'm serious. What is wrong with these people, dude? And by the way, if you know people, make sure you share this again. I think we're good on the internet. If you share it again, just let people know. Say, look, we believe that the technical difficulties are gone. We believe that the animals that were trying to sabotage the show, they've been taken care of. We got it under control, folks. We've got it under control because right now that internet is cooking. It's cooking enough that you're able to, see this. Look at it, America. Look at that. Who would in good conscience even say they would try? This person, what's wrong with them? You go, oh, I don't even want to theorize about what this is about. I mean, it's so bad, dude. It is so bad. A dog gets caught stealing popcorn, and the video will make you giggle. Probably not. Thieving dogs, that doesn't make me laugh at all. We need to crack down on that. Serious law and order. Law and order for these puppies, man. Law and order for those puppies, dude. I'm mad. See, we minimize the terrible things that these animals are doing. We minimize it as if it's cute that they're tearing that up. Oh, it's cute that, they're kind of biting on your finger and stuff. I don't think so. It's cute that they're licking the plates that your steak was on. Well, that might not be cute. I don't know anybody that's like, oh, look, that's cute. People are ticked, dude. People are really, really mad about that. They're like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Some stuff you just simply cannot allow to take place. And that's one of them, dude. But this dog putting his face in a popcorn bag? Is this the video? Is it? Oh, no, here's the video. Let's see this thing. Dog steals popcorn. Let's see this video. Oh, it's on Reddit. It's on TikTok! How? Of course it is. Of course it is, by the way.
Bear.
Oh, TikTokers. This is fake, dude. That's it?
Bear.
This is all set up, dude. This person's wanting money. This person's wanting those likes. Want those upvotes. Come on, man. Share my TikTok. Share my TikTok. Watch my dog eating all the butter out of the freaking bag. No, dude. How about you watch the cops come in, and the cops are going to be like, we got to crack down on it. Set an example. You're coming with us. Rolfie. Or Bear. And his name. Dude, wait a second. What's up with these animals? The cat, Panda. This one, Bear. I'm kind of starting to feel that maybe there's some kind of a conspiracy going on around here. I'm starting to wonder. Oh, man. Please give me something good. No more animals, man. Please give me something good. Darwood, Dudwa, is that Dudwa? Tigress and cubs walk up to a person filming their video. What, dude? Oh no. Okay, I don't have like a fear of tigers in the same way that I would say I have a fear of, sharks or tornadoes and, spiders and stuff like that. Poisonous turtles. I don't have a fear, the same way. But stuff like this, dude, doesn't that just spook you out? What's going on with this? Quote, brilliant and beautiful capture of tigress with cubs. Oh, at a tiger reserve by the field director. Okay, so it's in a reserve. Okay. She's there with her cubs. Filmed after nightfall. Initially, the tigress appears to be walking away from the car where the person filming them sits. Then she turns around and walks right up to the field director recording them. So they're in a car. They're not like that dude who was running away. What was it, man? Oh, Mountain Lion. Remember that? Remember that, dude? That guy was, he's like, no, get away right now. I thought homeboy was going to start speaking in tongues, man. I didn't know what was going to happen with that guy. Like, he was scared. Well, although at the end he was, demonstrably not super scared. His hands were barely shaking. He's like, actually, I'm, pretty calm. But it was 6 minutes, dude. It was 6 minutes of this. Okay, let's see this. How would you feel inside a car or not? How would you feel in this moment right here? I mean, it's beautiful, man. Look at that. See, I would be freaking out, man. Okay, so they're walking away. Okay, I got it. Oh, now they're just walking up to you. Okay, a little bit more frightening. And I know that, look, the tigers are super cute. Where, you guys, what do you think? Tigers on our side, on the other side? Where do tigers stand in this entire thing? I'd like to think they're on our side. I'd like to think that they are on our side of the great animal uprising of 2020, that they know what's going on. They've got our back, guys. Oh, dude, yeah. See, that is pretty, man. That's not scary. You guys tried to scare me. Someone tried to send this, and they're like, oh, I bet Jeremiah's going to be really scared of the tigress. And I'm like, no, dude. I actually think, that tigress might be kind of like Cringer, or what's his name when he transforms, man, into the amazing, not Thundercat. It's not Thundercat. What the heck, guys? No, it is not Thundercat. On He-Man, right? What's his name? When he gets super, he's dun, 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 and he gets massive, and he's super savage. What's his name? I think my son would know that. He needs to come down and tell me, man, because I kind of feel like Battle Cat. Yes. Okay, so Battle Cat. I kind of feel like this tigers might be a little bit like Battle Cat. The only way we're going to find out, I've got to saddle him up. I've got a saddle. I've got the Battle Cat saddle. And we are going to put it on that bugger, and we're going to rock it out, guys. We are going to rock it out. Woman petrified as CCTV shows ghost with tentacles coming out of a baby's room. I've seen too many of these guys. Oh, and it's one of these dumb things over at Daily Star. Is it even going to play? Highly unlikely. I'll let it load and see if it works. So here's the thing, guys. I see stuff like this all the time. I've watched so many shows, so many of these ghost shows. I've watched them. Oh, it's playing.
On first glance of this footage,
I didn't see anything, guys.
It is easy to think that this is just somebody looking out of the room and then closing the door behind him. But when you look closely at this entity, you can see that this entity doesn't have hands.
Wait a second.
It has something like tentacles, black tentacles. Now the witness states that there's nobody in the home but her and her small baby. So what's alarming is this thing looks out to make sure that there's nobody around and then closes the door behind him.
Look at the close-up. Look on that door.
I say, lady, you need to get somebody in the house or you need to leave.
Oh, you hear what he says? He's like, you either need somebody in that house or you need to leave. Maybe, dude. If I saw that in the house, I'd be like, I don't know what that was. Do you guys have any unexplainable stories, by the way? Any unexplainable stories? I've shared one before. Where I talked about going to Minnesota. When I lived in Minnesota, going to this house in a super spooky hill with a super spooky fire at the top that wasn't, when we first got there, it was not there. And it was a massive bonfire. And there was a truck that was there that was not there when we first got there. And there was a huge tree over top of the driveway that made it so that there was no going up and down this driveway. And then racing for our lives away from this place, and this somehow the truck being at the bottom all of a sudden. And the truck, there's only one way up and down to this place, and that truck totally cooking it after us, and then following us in reverse. When we tried to get away, we had to run to the car. This bugger hops in the car. It's an old man, dude, scraggly hair, flannel shirt. It was really creepy. It's like the male version of, that lady, the trucker, man. Large Marge. Was that her name? Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Whereas her eyes get real big. And when she heard the sound of a garbage truck kind of thing. Dude, that's what the guy kind of looked like. Or maybe like the old man riding a bicycle in the movie In the Mouth of Madness. Looked a little bit like that, to be quite honest with you. Super scary. We try booking away, and this homeboy pulls out in reverse in a truck. He's going down the road. I've never in my life seen anybody pop something in reverse and cook it after you. Never, dude. I've never seen it, man. It's another level. Alrighty. Let's see here. Ailey says, hoping we don't have any more internet issues. Bear with us and keep on watching. Thank you so much, by the way. Thank you so much. We're going to have to just I'm serious, man. We're going to put this bad boy on private. We're going to put it on private, download it, upload segments. And that way you can share the segments anyway. We'll try to make it so that you can share. We'll pick out the funnier ones. We'll pick out some of the more serious ones toward the end. It'll be really good. Okay. Also, since this show started, I've had to reheat my coffee 4 times. Why? It's because you're drinking hot coffee, Ailey. You got to drink it cold through a straw. Wouldn't be nearly as problematic. Michael Israel says, good morning. Good morning to you, buddy. Good morning to you. I appreciate that you tune in, by the way. Make sure to share it, of course, with your friends. And a reminder, if you guys want to donate, which would be really great, if you would like to donate, with the possibility that those funds may, in fact, help to offset the costs of us driving down, which is a possibility. We're looking into it. We're scrambling around trying to figure out, do we want to go to the rally in D.C. in support of President Trump? I would love to. In fact, I was Timothy Gordon, Rules for Retrogrades, man. He reached out to me yesterday and said, hey, man, are you going to that thing? And I said, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. We are searching around the house like crack fiends for quarters, digging through the carpet, going through the cushions, everything else, man. We're hanging our kids upside down, shaking them, seeing if they got stuff in their pockets. We're trying everything, guys. We're trying everything. See here. James, they finally gave Alaska to Trump like 5 minutes ago. Dude, that I'm telling you, we may have to thank the Tuxedo Cat for that. That Tuxedo Cat that traveled 2,500 miles. I have a feeling, dude, that cat may have been involved in that. May have been involved, probably on our side, my guess. Most cats are. Most cats are. I know this. For a fact, guys, don't question that. We only talk about facts, dude, by the way. Bethany says, a tuxedo cat is just a black and white cat that looks like it's in a tux. Bethany, you're fired. You're fired. For one, you have fallen for the propaganda. Number 2, why are you taking me so seriously? Why? Why, Bethany? Why are you taking me so seriously? I said, why? You know, why does a cat need to wear a tuxedo? If you think I'm going down that road, if you think there's even a remote possibility, turn it off and run. Because the rest of the show is taken seriously. And it's like, dude, if I'm wrong about the tuxedo cat, I don't know. I mean, maybe the verdict is still out, you know. Maybe we still don't entirely know. And it could be just propaganda. You know, that is, you know, it's kind of like that is the pattern of the tuxedo that they should wear, right? And so it's kind of one of those things. It's like, boy, what would you call that, man? What would you call that? It's just a picture of what ultimately would look best on the cat, right? God gave it to him that way. It helps them. It helps them. It's part of the entire process of adaptation, right? It's part of the entire process. And they're like, look, the Lord's, you know, thinking, one day, guys, you will wear tuxedos and I will help you along the way. That's how it all works, guys. It's how it all works. Paleocrat, your son wants to make an account so he can comment. Okay, yeah, you know what? Make an account for the family. Make an account for Teen Tiny Dancer. Oh, you did! It's Isaac! Oh! Oh, no. Hi, Papa. Yeah, dude, what's up, bro? What is up, dude? I love my kids, by the way, man. My kids, they watch the show. They enjoy it. He asks, how did the sculpture get so hideous? You know, dude, it's... I can't really explain it. It's somebody who, for whatever reason, that person was, whether asked, ultimately commissioned to fix this sculpture to make it look better, to kind of update it, because sometimes the nose might chip off or the chin or something. And they're like, look, you know, we need you to kind of fix it up and stuff so that it matches the rest of all of the, everything that's done, all the other sculptures. And for some reason, dude, this lady thought she was qualified. I mean, did she go to them and say, hey, guys, look, I don't know if I can do this? Was she looking around and kind of like, I don't know, dude, this is looking bad. It's looking pretty hit. Did she ever even approach them? And they're like, oh, no, I'm sure it's fine. I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. Let's see here. Let's see. Ailey says, I was going to say that the sculpture kind of looks like a character off of Gumby. Yeah, totally. It looks like something off of Gumby or Davy and Goliath. And by the way, to the viewer, and she knows who she is, to the viewer who sat there and defended Salty the Singing Songbook, you ain't going to convince me, man. You will not convince me of that ever. Okay. Salty. It was like, no, man, Salty is awesome. And I'm thinking, dude, Gospel Bill was better than Salty. Gospel Bill was better. Davy and Goliath were better. I mean, it's just true. Right? The prophetic mime show where the mimes are doing interpretive dance to some of the worst Christian music from the 70s and 80s. That was better. Believe me. Believe me. It is a fact, guys. Antifa says, Antifa are commie scum, dude. Yeah, don't come at me, Antifa. Antifa are commie scum. Don't come at me, bro. I have a large 25-pound house cat. Wow, son. I love him, but a 200-pound cat is nothing I want to deal with. You wouldn't want to deal with that? I would, dude. I got a St. Bernard, man. Although she's only like 100 pounds. I got to imagine, if the dog was 2 times that size, it might make it a little bit harder. Yeah, Destiny, it's good to see you again, by the way. Destiny. Talking about Battle Cat. Battle Cat, you had the answer. Are you a He-Man fan, by the way, Destiny? It's good to see you. It is good to see you. Jorge said Cringer. I knew Cringer, man. I knew Cringer was He-Man's cat. I didn't know what his name was when he transformed into the mega dope cat that wasn't, cringing at everything. By the way, dude, He-Man, there's an amazing episode of He-Man where all the women, it's like this feminist utopia where the women don't think they need any men and all the men are put to work underneath the ground. And dude, the whole episode is basically an argument that is ridiculous, that you cannot treat men that way, that you need to listen to the men, and that you need to bring the men up because otherwise your civilization is going to be destroyed. I thought, there's no way they could pull that stunt nowadays. And they wouldn't anyway, man, because they had that, gender ambiguous She-Ra crap. And I heard that they're, with the new, what they're going to do with He-Man, that it's just not going to be anything like He-Man. In fact, He-Man might not even be the main character. It might be Tila. Wouldn't be surprised. Oh, that's an original concept, man. Oh my gosh, a woman taking over the role of what a man used to do? Dude, that is so cutting edge and avant-garde. Everybody's doing it. Yeah, even 007. Even 007. And, I don't mind in some ways. Jonathan Peugeot, I agree with him on the dangers of playing with symbols and archetypes this way. I agree with him on that. But at the same time, I think it is a good time to remind people that these movies are very fake. You don't see it. It's like G.I. Jane. I don't mean to be rude. And I don't think any ladies watching this would be offended by me saying this. But it's unsurprising that you don't have any women Navy SEALs yet. And it's probably better. Well, it is, because they haven't made it, even just on qualifications alone, saying if you can make it. And I don't want to make it sound like that's easy. I knew dudes that were massive, man. Huge. One guy named Gunner. He was 6 foot. What was Gunner, man? 6'3", 6'4". Just, his arms were tank. Just absolutely huge. He rang out. He couldn't make it. And it broke his heart, man. He's like, look, you just don't even know how hard that is. Unbelievable. Yeah, Barbara says, now that this is going to go private, I guess I'll have to keep this on in the background until the end. Or maybe I'll just put it as unlisted. I'll put it as unlisted. So if you're watching right now, you can just go ahead and save the... And remember, you can go to Paleocrat Diaries later today, paleocratdiaries.com. And when I post it, I'll probably just post individual segments. And that way you can watch individual ones and you can even share them. Okay, so if you say, man, that was a really funny segment, I really had fun, and he mentioned my comment, and I want to share it with my friends, you can do that. We'll make it easy for you guys. Georgia just announced a hand recount. Yes, it is coming. It is coming. Ailey says, maybe Paleocrat can do a special live show in D.C. I would, absolutely 110%. That is exactly that's one of the things. I would live stream so much of it. I would go around, I would interview as many people as I could, to sit there and meet up with different individuals and to talk with them, to connect with them. If you want to see this show, we had people yesterday who were like, Jeremiah, I don't understand why this show is not like off the charts with people. I'm not understanding this. And trust me, bro, I'm not understanding it either. To be quite frank with you, I'm not understanding it because the shows make it dope, obviously. It might have to do with the technical difficulties. But the truth is, as the listeners recognize and understand, they weren't my fault. It was probably the animals outside. It probably was, dude. It probably was. Although, in fairness, I will say this. This show, the topic structure, the way that we do this, right? We're having fun, right? We're talking about stuff. If somebody didn't know the show and they tuned in and they heard me talking about cats wearing tuxedos, they might be like, dude, what in the crap is this? What's this guy? Or animals involved in some kind of a great animal uprising conspiracy. They might be really off put by that and be like, this is another level of crazy. It is unquestionably the most bipolar show that I know of. It is. It's super duper bipolar. But if it follows a flow, that's genius, I think. And I'm glad that so many of you guys appreciate it. And so I understand when people are like, look, I want something that's a little bit deep dive. I don't want to sit around and listen to a bunch of this talk about, animals and Guinness Book of World Records. I don't want any of that. That's like I can watch Now This for that. And I go, I understand that. I'm not gonna balk at them. I'm just gonna say, look, why don't you tune in during the second hour? If that's what you want, because this right here isn't just some of the coolest commentary. As all of you have recognized by this point, we are literally light years ahead of so many people right now. We aren't even afraid. We're taking things in stride, one thing at a time. 1 foot in the past, the head in the present, another foot in the future, whistling while we stroll along, whistling while we work. And that's what we do every single day. Oh, boy. Hooray. Nice hat. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, Bethany says, broken heart, big broken heart. Love me some salty. You're cracking me up. Oh, man. Oh, buddy. Some salty. If you guys know what Salty the Singing Songbook is, and this might date, who we are and stuff and our age and stuff. Salty the Singing Songbook. I think what really drove me nuts was how badly it was dubbed. And there's a certain style, I think, back then that was just, Christian entertainment back in the day. I mean, it was like full-blown propaganda. It was like, and I'm not using propaganda necessarily in a way that's saying that that's bad. I'm saying the style of it. It's kind of like socialist art or modernism, modernist art, socialist art, these different kinds of art. You can go back and look at it and say, well, what is this crap all about? Why is this art so bad? Why is it when I drive by something that has Antifa or BLM and all of that, it all has the same kind of style of art? What's up with that? It's propaganda art. That doesn't mean it's necessarily the worst art in the world. I've seen some socialist art, different scenes of workers working and stuff like that are excellent pieces of art. No question about it. I've seen some BLM stuff, man, that I'm like, look, that mural over there is fantastic. There's one actually in Battle Creek with Sojourner Truth. You can see this kind of stuff and see some value in it. But at the same time, you're like, dude, there is a purpose behind what they're doing. And these particular kinds of art are almost always wrapped up in, we need to pound the message at you. And I feel in a way that is a little bit like what they did with Salty. They didn't do it with Gerbert. In fact, Gerbert was he was totally thugging, dude. He's thug life. Gerber was. And if you don't know who Gerber is, man, you got to look up Gerber, the little orange puppet guy with the red hair. I've always had a kind of weird relationship with a lot of redheads, man. People say, Jeremiah, you're a redhead. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't identify as that. I identify as a dirty blonde. That's the way that is, man. Dirty blonde. Oh, man. Destiny, it says, yes, I watch He-Man all the time. I do too. You can actually, I watched He-Man, I watched Super Friends, I watched GoBots. How many of you guys even remember GoBots? Do you guys remember that? Thundercats? All those Thundercats when I was a kid, man, Thundercats scared me. It was pretty rough. TW says, praying for veterans today. Bro, I need to thank you for this, by the way. I need to thank you for this. Today is Veterans Day. And I should have started the show. I didn't even line it up in the front. Today is Veterans Day. If you know someone who is a veteran, and by the way, just to let you know, I'm a veteran. Okay, I served in the Navy, albeit for a brief time. And I've said that someday I would talk about my experience and like what it was like signing in, because I was signing in, going through D-Lab. I did the test for languages and stuff like that, and it was a really difficult thing to do. I wanted to be a crypto tech interpreter, is what I wanted to be. And it was all going well. I was going to go to Monterey, California. I was super pumped about it. I'm signing all my papers. Basically, I would be heading out either within the next 24 hours or 48, something like that. And I'm filling it all out. And next thing you know, somebody's screaming. And it's over in a room where a TV is on. And a bunch of people race over there. And everyone's crying and running around. And there was smoke coming out of the Twin Towers. That's where I was. And a lot of people went home. And I don't judge them, man. But I stayed. And I to this day, I have, even though I wasn't with the military very long, I had a medical discharge. Right? So I for medical reasons. And I tried to fight to stay in. That's a hard thing to do, by the way. It's hard to find lawyers that are willing to go up against the Navy like that and say, look, this guy wants to stay in. Because a lot of the lawyers in Navy towns, those guys are JAG. But I tried because I genuinely loved the military. And to this day, I love the military. It's one of the reasons I voted for Donald Trump. And it's one of the reasons why I voted for him again, because the impact that he had. And not all veterans agree on this. I know veterans that, they dislike Trump for other reasons and whatnot. It's a divided community. It's not a monolithic thing. But in my own personal life, I got to tell you, I've been with the VA now since 2002, and never, ever in my entire experience has it been as good. In fact, not just as good, as totally stinking awesome as it was since Donald Trump has been president. And the only time any of that changed was COVID. And even then, it was almost that they were so good on some things, they were annoying. They would call and keep you up to date with everything. All the time you'd be on these phone calls and everything. But they did cancel a lot of stuff, and that really did upset me. And it messed a lot of things up. And I felt that was entirely unnecessary. But at the same time, what the president has done under this administration, what has happened to veterans like me that gave us access where I didn't have to drive an hour and 20 minutes to go to a hospital anymore. I could simply go up to different clinics around town. That was completely not available as of 4 years ago. It was unavailable. It wasn't available under George W. Bush. It wasn't available under Obama, Biden. But under Trump, yes. And more than that, the wait times dramatically down. Wait times. More than that, you're able to have transparency where if you disagree or you want to rate a facility or doctors, you're able to do that. Never before. So make sure you tell a veteran you're grateful for them. And that you're so grateful that you really, truly, and sincerely hope that we don't make more disabled veterans by sending them over to foreign countries. Which, by the way, if Biden gets in, if that is the case, and it turns out to be the case, if that happens, we will go to war almost immediately. It won't take long. It won't take long. You are going to have the people he's put in place. It's stunning. It's stunning the kind of, well, it's not. It's not necessarily stunning because he is part of that entire uniparty cabal that thinks that America needs to play Team America World Police and project our power, not by simply having a great military, but by going in, and covertly taking people out left and right. It's the same philosophy that he's got playing involved in the Ukraine situation by fire that attorney, fire that investigator, or you don't get the money. That same way that he wants to mingle in everything, he wants to get involved in everything. That's the same philosophy he has about everything. Because he's better than us. He knows more than us. He's richer than us, more powerful than us. That's what happens when you sell your soul to the devil, right? Let's see, praying for veterans today? Yeah, God bless them. Reward them for all their courage and honor. The question, what if a girl came back to play the role of Jesus Yeah, not going to happen. I would be very upset with that because the book of Revelation, it says that there's a lady the dragon is mad at. Yes, that's the Virgin Mary. That's the Virgin Mary, man. It is the Virgin Mary. So I wouldn't be, look, if people want to try to play that, I mean, Iceland did it, right? The Church of Iceland, they have that tranny Jesus with the, breasts and stuff. And the short dress, looking mega queer. So that's not Jesus, dude. That is your satanic, that's your satanic rendition. Let's see. Why would He-Man name his cat Cringer? Verbal abuse. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Another great podcast, Shadow Band. Dude, probably, bro. Probably. Yeah, I look, I believe that this show is probably being throttled like crazy. And that's why we need you guys to share it. We need you guys to comment and to say, look, man, this is a great show. If you like the articles, go find the article that we talked about and share it. Or go on the video and pause it, click share. It's got a little thing for the timestamp that says, make it share beginning at this time. You click on that, copy it, paste it into social media, share it. It will take people directly to the part of the show that you want them to hear. Howl at the Sun. I literally made a pumpkin like that statement. It's a wolf with a candlelit background. Dude, yes, man. Yes, thank you. That's awesome, man. Do you have a picture of that? You should send it to us. PaleocratDiaries@gmail.com. If you can't make it to DC, Lansing would be pretty dope too. I bet you can be one of the speakers. It'd be pretty awesome. I don't know why, it's like there's a network of people, right? And a certain degree of expectation that they've got. And those are people who put themselves on the line. A lot of times they've been out there doing the huffing, the footwork, going door to door, going to different rallies, things like that. But I sit here, man, I'm pounding away at this day in and day out. I am pounding away at this. And I'm a pretty good public speaker. In fact, if you'd like me to come speak at your church or organization, just let me know. You can let me know by going to paleocratdiaries.com, and right there you'll see that we have I think it's under Connect or under Services. You can click under that. It's got a place for interviews or a thing you can say, hey, I want you to come speak in my even homeschool groups, colleges, doesn't matter. I've done it all, man. Spoken at colleges and universities, huge events, man. Soirees, fancy stuff too. Even panels, like debate panels and everything. Did one at Michigan State University with tons of fun. They were really mad at me. Really, really mad at me. Alrighty, moving on. Okay, we're going to get serious here, guys. We are going to get serious with this. This is serious business. Hold on a second. Got to drop this bugger down. Sorry about that. I want to make sure that I can still see the comments while I'm doing the show. Okay. So I saw this yesterday, and it is a little bit ridiculous, right? I'm not necessarily a fan of Kenneth Copeland. And by not necessarily, I mean, I believe that he is, a raging heretic, okay? He's a raging heretic. He's part of the name it, claim it, tag it, bag it, flab it, grab it community, right? And that's an idea of New Thought metaphysics that I don't subscribe to. I don't subscribe to it. In fact, I've been opposed to it for a very long time. There's a book by Hank Hanegraaff called Christianity in Crisis. And Christianity in Crisis. And Hank Hanegraaff, by the way, at the time he was the Bible answer man. He was a Protestant. I forget what he was into at the time. And he started kind of getting into these things like, getting into preterism, which is what I believe. And that is the idea of stuff happening in the past. Stuff happening in the past in the book of Revelation, right? And he's a partial preterist. He's not full preterism would be heresy, right? That there's nothing that even the resurrection happened. That's obviously raging heresy. But he started getting into that. He started getting into the church fathers, different things. And next thing you know, he became Eastern Orthodox. But he wrote a great book called Christianity in Crisis that's about people like Kenneth Hagin, Kenneth Copeland, Frederick Price, a lot of these different people, a lot of the revivalism, and I was part of the revivalism. This was one of those things that really hit home for me, and it hit home in a way that was more profound than John MacArthur's book, The Charismatics. if for no other reason than John MacArthur is, his book came off like angry. Like, I don't know any other way to explain it. John MacArthur does some amazing things. He's the pastor out in California who's basically telling California they can shove it and that they're going to continue having services. And California was shutting off their water. They were shutting off their electricity. They were trying everything they could. And he just kept on marching along. But this guy, he has a manic reaction to Biden winning the election. And they say it's disturbing. This is Lad Bible. And maybe it is a little bit disturbing. But I wanted to listen to this before we howl at the sun, because we're going to do that next to raise the glass high. But this gives you enough time to refill that coffee, to refill whatever you're drinking. If you're over, maybe you're one of those early drinkers, or you're on the other side of the planet and you got your liquefied meat. I got a buddy who says he raises his burger high. I think what he means is that he's liquefying steak. I think he's liquefying some burger through a straw. I don't know, man. No matter what it is, if it's tea, it doesn't matter. If it's Kool-Aid, it doesn't matter. You raise it high, because we are going to howl at the sun. We are going to let the world know how excited we are. And I thought maybe this is one of those things that we should show right before we do that. This right here is televangelist Kenneth Copeland laughing at the media for declaring that Joe Biden has won the election. Here we go.
The media said what? The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha
Wow. Yeah. So, okay. You decide. Was that cringe? Was that cringe, or was it a little cringe? Like he didn't know, maybe he should have slowed it down a tiny eetsy. Not slowed it down, but like trimmed it. I mean, they ran for 35 seconds of the ha-has. He probably could have done that in, 30. He probably could have done it a little bit shorter. But I think the message is clear. And it may, in fact, be one of the only things that I actually agree with him on. To say, when the mainstream media told us this, and when they continue to tell us this, we need to sit there and go, ha, 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 in your stinking face, son, because it's phony. It's phony for now. It's phony for now because there is a process, and we are going to follow that process. And by the way, speaking of following a process, we got to follow this. So look, before we get ready, let's go back to the main banner here. Let's go back to this main banner. We got to do it. We got to do it. All right, make sure. Raise your glass up high. It is time, my friends, to deep dive. We are going to go deep, 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 deep into what is going on all around the United States, because we are living right now in super duper wicked times. Our times are tumultuous and evil, and we need to be joyful. In fact, I say it every day. I say, well, today is the day the Lord has made. We have to rejoice. We ought to rejoice. We must rejoice, and we must be glad in it. And why? Because we live by certain themes, guys, don't we? We live by certain themes. These themes are really simple. 1, never give up, not ever. Number 2, keep on smiling all the time. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. It's not, we're not wearing a mask. We're making that a disposition of the heart. To say that even when we go through those things that are terrible, that we simply trust in God and that we have a hope in Him. And because we have a hope in Him, we have a joy that surpasses all understanding. We have a peace that surpasses all understanding. And it does. They don't understand it. We confound the world all the time. They're like, they might be upset and talking about us as though we are upset about what's going on in the world. And in some ways, yes, we are. But we're that way with a smile on our face because we know that He's already won. We aren't afraid of that. We are hopeful. In fact, we're not just hopeful, we are staunch in our convictions. And it's the way it goes. And history is an ebb and flow, but it is always following in the direction. It's always flowing in the direction of Christ the King. And we have each other because we're a wolf pack. Because we're a wolf pack. And every single day, I love this, by the way. I love that you guys tune in, man. I love seeing your names. I love seeing the comments that you have. I could just do, in fact, I might just do an evening show sometime where all it is just talking to you guys, because you're some of the best people. You're amazing people. And you know, it might be easy for so many of you. It might be easy to be like, am I important? Am I special? Do I actually matter? Take it from me right now. You matter. You matter big time. You matter to me. If you didn't matter, God wouldn't have made you. I mean it. God would not have made you. But you were beautifully made, by the way. Especially the listeners to the show. Not going to lie about that. Our listeners, as I've said, I think it's scientific polls done on it and studies and stuff. It's verified universally. People who listen to this show are typically really smart, and they are typically mega hot. That's just the way that goes. But I mean it. And that we do all of this, that we believe all these things, that we howl at the sun, that we pray for the wolf pack, that we do that kind of a thing, and we do it because we know that our time is limited. My time right now is limited. I was limited by the technical difficulties earlier. Did I quit? Boy, I kind of wanted to. I kind of wanted to say, it's over today, guys. I'm out. But I sat there and said, I embrace an idea. I embrace a conviction that especially, and remember, I've said it a billion times, especially when it's going rough. And why? Why would we do that? Is it just to smile for smile's sake? No. It's because at the end of the day, we all know something. At the beginning of the day, all throughout the day, we keep something in the forefront of our mind. I wear a pin. I wear a pin that reminds me of this all the time. It's a skull. It's memento mori. It's the idea, remember death. That I can look at this skull and think to myself, what I am, you once were. And what you are, I will be. And I don't know when. So for now, we raise it high. We give everything we've got. We do it at home. We do it at work. We do it when we're out and about. We do it when we're doing hobbies, our gifts and talents to the best of our ability every single day. Every single day. And why? Why do we do it? Because we're a wolf pack and because we love God. And that's why we're going to get pumped up right now. So raise that glass up, kiddo. We're going to rock this out. Let your family, let your friends, let your frenemies, let them all know. Classmates, co-workers, doesn't matter. Let them know. Here we go. Here we go. You got. Today's the day the Lord has made. Come on. We will be triumphant. Ah. Oh, I love those little guys, dude. Oh, I love those little guys, man. Oh, I love those little guys. And the girl, dude. And the girl. And remember, if you have a wolf pack moment that you're sitting there, you have a picture of yourself raising your glass high. You have a picture of yourself raising a burger high. You send it to me. We will add it to that compilation. Because right now we got some amazing kids. We got a young girl. We got a young boy. We have a little boy. That little boy is my little guy, Lucian. And I love that little dude. I love that little dude. All right, here we go. Remember. Oh, yeah, okay. So here we go. We're going to talk today a lot about elections. In fact, what was the story, man? What was the headline? Miracle, right? The dead come back to life. to vote for Joe Biden. It's true, dude. Lots of dead people. Lots of dead people coming back to life, and they're all about Joe Biden. But see, here's the thing. I told you guys recently, I said, look at the way that the media, that they manipulate things to secure and to prop up Joe Biden. Remember, I said this. Here's a great example of it. Here we go. Right here. So this is Wikipedia. Wikipedia is like just brazen propaganda at this point. Just don't even go there, by the way. It's just crap. There's got to be better sites, dude. The president-elect of the United States is a person who conclusively appears to have won a presidential election in the United States, but has yet to take office as president. The president-elect takes office after the oath of office is administered during the presidential inauguration. We all know that right now. Okay, we know that. That's like, okay, Jeremiah, why are you telling us this? I'm telling you this because of this next part. If the result of the election is unclear or disputed, no person is normally referred to as a president-elect until the dispute is resolved. This is not done, by the way, by the media. It's not like, well, but the media said, no. If it's disputed, because it doesn't matter if you have Rando Joe sitting there going, oh, I don't think this person won, my guy won. That's not what they mean by disputed. What they mean by disputed is if you have, for example, if you have court cases where you are going to have people, judges, right, maybe even the Supreme Court, deal with this matter, it's disputed. In fact, if the courts are involved, it is, by definition, being disputed legally. No person under that situation, no person is normally referred to as president-elect until the dispute is resolved. Okay, sounds great. Sounds like normal times. Until right below it, you realize, oh my gosh, they've got a picture of President-elect Joe Biden. So what did they do? Well, they did what we knew they would do, by the way. Oh, no. What the heck? How do I get this thing off here? Come on, man. No. Okay. Man. Is it really going to make it that big the whole time? So here's the thing, okay. So here we go. So they changed it, guys. They changed it. Here it is. President-elect of the United States. The president-elect of the United States is a person who conclusively appears to have won a presidential election in the United States, but has yet to take office as president. Sounds good so far. The president-elect takes office after the oath of office is administered during the presidential inauguration. That sounds great. Oh, the rest of it's gone. The rest of it is gone. Oh, that's really weird. It seems like that was true for a very long time, long enough that was literally an uncontested part of what your description was of this. But now, oh, for some weird reason, I wonder what it is. It's that guy. It's that guy and their buddy chum connection with him, making sure that no matter what, Joe Biden's going to win. That is their plan. That is their scheme. And you can see it on full display. By the way, this right here, this kind of a thing, that right there, in my opinion, is election tampering. You are tampering with the way that elections work by trying to do this and treating yourself and projecting yourself online and being used by others who agree with you on the same project, by the way, social media, using sites like this in order to give people the true information. It's a joke, and it's plain as day. Speaking of something that's not a joke, actually, I want to just say a big shout out to this lady. I hope she listens to the show, guys. She probably does. She probably listens to the show. Mississippi's Aja Branch, pro-gun and pro-Trump, is crowned Miss USA 2020. Dang, girl. You did a great job. You did a great job. I just want to thank her, by the way. Yeah, she said, as someone who grew up in a home with guns, I learned at an early age how to load, how to fire, and gun safety. Dude, wow. Man, this chick is like very hot on multiple levels, don't you think? It's a fair thing to say. She is doing well in life. And I think that gun education should be available to everyone. Yeah, me too. It should probably be something that kids learn in school. And if they don't want to, if their parents are some weirdo pacifist or whatever, let them, sign out. If they don't want to participate in that and don't want to learn how to defend themselves under constitutionally protected rights. Say, okay, you're the weirdo, I guess. Yeah, okay, right here. Just a reminder, again, there's certain things that I'm going to tell you that are simply used as reminders. Just to let you know, to say, look, don't forget this. Keep this in the back of your minds because this isn't over yet. In fact, how many days has it been? It's the 11th right now. Okay? So we're talking like a week. Right? And so you say, okay, 2000 went for, 37 days? Dude, 5 weeks, basically? Right? 5 weeks. So you sit there and you go, dude, this is pretty, we're pretty early on in this. We are 1/5 of the way there. We are 1/5 of the way to how long it was that we were involved in the entire Florida debacle that was going on. And this is much bigger, by the way, much bigger. It's by far vast. I mean, we're talking widespread. And again, reminding people, widespread is now their new tactic. They're like, well, it's not widespread because they could not get away for too long saying there's no such thing as election fraud. There's no such thing as it at all. And you don't have any evidence. There are just simply too many shows like this one that prove them wrong every single day. But remember, mathematics proves election fraud. You can apply the Benford law test to the leading digit, right, of the vote totals reported from precincts. The Biden totals fail. And in fact, this test has been used in the past to show when, if, when, and to what degree fraud took place, manipulation. And curiously enough, the Trump numbers pass. They have an expected distribution. There's a bunch of explanation, by the way, in that thread. You can find that over at dark_2_light. And it's got a heart and a prayer and, the flag and stuff. And so it should be easy to see. Okay, another bit of news real quick. And I'm sorry for blowing through this stuff. I hope you guys are taking notes, at least writing it down. Or if you see an article that you like, that you go, dude, I want to look into this a little bit more. Because right now, insofar as it's concerned, we are at red alert levels, guys. That's why this show has been going longer. I even said right before this that the show is going to get shorter. Oh, no rest for the vigilant. It's just not going to happen. Obama official Ben Rhodes admits that Biden camp is already working with foreign leaders. Ain't that funny, by the way? Ain't that funny? That's exactly what General Michael Flynn did. It's the exact same thing. In late 2016, this is greenwald.substack.com by Glenn Greenwald. In late 2016, the FBI investigated General Michael Flynn when he was a transition official for the possible crime, and crime, of course, in quotes here, scare quotes, of talking to Russia about foreign policy. Why can Biden do this? Why? Why is that okay? This was so much. This was, in many ways, what kicked off all of Russiagate. It was high profile, way higher profile than Carter Page. Way higher profile. And he was doing what he's legally allowed to do. So the question is, look, by the way, let me say this. There was not any legal contest as to whether or not Trump won. So in that sense, president-elect. Okay? In this sense, they're doing this while not being president-elect. Because it's contested. We've got the screenshots. Wikipedia. And the reason why is this. This is why. I showed you guys this yesterday. Again, sometimes these images, you have to emblazon them in your mind. You need to show these things to your friends over and over and over and say, look, this is obvious to people. And the only ones it's not obvious to, the only ones that don't see this are the people that, to be brutally honest, are in love with horse blinders. They're like, I don't want to see what I don't want to see. I'm going to look for what I want. That's it. But the rest of the world, we can all see it and go, dude, look at the uniformity of the messaging. Look at the uniformity of the censorship. Look at the uniformity in the way that these groups treat MAGA people compared to the violent individuals involved with Antifa and BLM, which, by the way, insofar as organizations are fleshed out on the streets, when there's ambiguity and it's really tough to distinguish between terroristic elements of a group and the peaceful elements of a group, it's because, in fact, they might, in fact, be terroristic. They might, in fact, be terrorist groups. Or they can't keep their people under control. And you're going to have to say, you're going to have to label them somehow. You're not going to say mostly peaceful protests. And just to let you know, as a reminder, this show, man, we keep you guys just on the ball. I ain't going to let you down. I am not going to let you down, believe me. Peaceful protester, that whole concept, peaceful protest, peaceful protest, peaceful protest, peaceful protest, over on every single channel. That right there is color revolution talk. It is. It's color revolution language. And that's why they had to sit there, and even the optics are color revolution stuff, that you sit there and say, wow, it's kind of weird. You're saying peaceful protesters as the entire city is on fire behind you. Wow, good job. Kind of conflicting images. And you go, yes, because that's the idea. That's the idea. Unbelievable. In the comments, Kashan says, it is mega dope. Just keep streaming. We all need to share the stream. Honestly, I think he needs to start streaming on Twitch also. I thought we were on Twitch. Although I am not. That's a fair point. I think you're talking about doing games too. I may, in fact, begin doing that. I started doing a test to see if I could do Wolf 3D. I'm talking like old school classic game stuff, dude. Because I kind of like to play some of that. Although I would like to play other ones too. Here's the difficulty, man. I'm not somebody who's very familiar. It's been a long time since I played games using a mouse and a keyboard. I mean, I play with controllers, you know? And I've thought about it, and I'm like, man, I'd love to do games, you know, even fun ones like Mario Kart and stuff. Because I really like Mario Kart, or basketball games. I enjoy basketball games and stuff. You know, even if I get spanked and everything. To have fun. Maybe even to play with my kids. I like Minecraft, although I'm not very good at it. You know, I like Minecraft. So we'll see. Let's see here. Yeah, Ailey, yeah, she's going to check on it for us. Yep, I got you. There we go. TW, I'll fly away, oh glory. Yes, I'll fly away. Bum, 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 bum. I'll fly away. Yes, dude, totally. I remember the whole thing, man. We used to do that in chapel at school. I would love to rip out, man, and just start singing, you know, doing the Southern gospel thing. I've thought about it. Let's see, Barbara, what happens to my immediate share of this show? I share ASAP from the beginning. I'll keep sharing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, Destiny brings up a great point. I agree. Talking about art, says you can appreciate the art but not support the message. That's totally true. That's totally true. The artistic style, right? Maybe even the theory behind the style in and of itself. Annette says Voltron. Voltron. Dude, yes, that is another one, man. Voltron, that was one. In fact, I think my parents got me a Voltron toys for a while. I don't remember if it was the cars or if it was the animals. I think it was the animals, though. And thank you, by the way, for all of the wishes for Happy Veterans Day to me and to other veterans. I really appreciate it. And Happy Veterans Day to all of you, every single one of you that you were in the military, different branches. Definitely support all of you. Very grateful for that, as well as even dads. Dads retired from the Navy. Ex-Army here. You got different people in the thread. Unsurprising, man. Patriotic people, man. Individuals who love this country are willing to lay down their lives for what this country stands for. They tune into the show. I'm really grateful for you guys. Yes. Antifa Arcami Scum says, I second your assessment of VA under Trump. Yeah, dude, totally. Totally, man. It's totally true, man. It blew my mind how often this kind of thing happened where, I have a video. I have a video that I made for journalists that I was told that I had to go. I was having some pain. I won't say where. I was in a little bit of pain. And I had to go to Battle Creek. That's like an hour and 20 minutes from my house to go to that particular place. And it's funny because the people on the phone back then used to say, you have to go to the VA hospital in Battle Creek. It's not a hospital. It's not a hospital. And they're like, well, yes, it is. And I said, no, it's not. They're not. The people on the phone, they're not even from Michigan. They were from like Ohio, which is bad for a lot of reasons, by the way, including Ohio. And so, you have these problems. And I made it something like that. And I made the video. We had to go pick up the kids. We had to drive all the way down over to Battle Creek. We had to get to Battle Creek and then go through the whole rigmarole. And it was worse than I imagined. I predicted at the very beginning that I thought we'd be back by midnight. We got home after midnight. And you can see it throughout the entire day. I'm showing what time it is. And I'm showing, and it was worse than I imagined because they had to put, they said, well, we don't have any way to do an ultrasound at this hospital. What? You don't have an ultrasound. They don't have a pharmacy either, except for like samples, right? Little things at night. And those are really limited too. And they only have a couple people working. It's not a hospital. And they sent it, it's a medical, a medical clinic or whatever. They've changed the name now. I think they were actually required to. And so the thing is, they weren't able to deal with me. So what do? They contract with an ambulance. And I have on that video, I have the ambulance worker talking about how we get off, how we, the taxpayers, get ripped off because the contract, they said, look, you are not required. There's nothing that keeps you from driving in a car. There's nothing even on the radar, nothing that is happening to you right now would even require this. But by law, they had to put me on the gurney, they had to buckle me in, load me up into an ambulance. I'm like, I got a car. Can't do it. I have pictures. I have video of it. And then they said not only that, but that you got to go back and forth both ways in the ambulance. And at the end of the day, I predicted not only that we would be back by midnight, but that they would probably just give me antibiotics and they would tell me that I need to connect soon within the next 24 to 48 hours with my primary care provider in Grand Rapids, where I came from. And we passed by so many different clinics and hospitals on the way to Battle Creek. You could not go to any of them. I couldn't. I had to go there. And at the end of the day, I was right on everything. And I shared the video. It's available on Facebook. Let's see here. Let me see. Destiny says a woman would never come back as Jesus. It goes against what the Bible says. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Isabel, God bless our veterans. Thank you so much again. Bethany talking about the pastor said that was super cringy, but it's funny, right? But it's funny. All right. Moving on. We're going to go till about 1. Especially because of all of the problems we had today. Because the show started out so rough. Study finds a connection between getting your way and calling for unity. This is obviously a very scientific poll, but you know what? It's funny. It's Babylon Bee. Okay. I tucked this one in here, but it's exactly true. And this is what we've got to deal with. And I wanted to show you this because sometimes comedy actually brings out a lot of truth that would otherwise remain hidden by very serious commentary. And by very partisan or seriously partisan commentary. And this right here, does getting your way make you more likely to think unity is great? Amount of getting your way. Republicans, Democrats. Look at that. Look at the line. Likelihood of increased calls for unity. Yes. And don't you see that, by the way? How many people are like, look, man, look, guys, we've been through a really tough time. It's really just time that we just get together and that we really just talk it out. And we come together on this. And I'm like, now that sounds great. Like in an ideal situation, in an ideal world, that would be great. The thing is, it's a magic trick. It's a magic trick, and they do not believe it. They do not believe it, and you can see it by the people that they're already putting in power, quote unquote, in their phony baloney, completely made up Orwellian office of president-elect. That's a fake thing. You can call it anything. You can call it anything. This is just completely made up, by the way. But it looks good. It's got it behind him, so every time he's on video, and this is like North Korea level propaganda. Every time he's on video, every time he's in pictures, and it says office of president-elect, to people on the outside, it really does look like that is real. And to American people, they're going to sit there and go, dude, he's already working in the office of the president-elect. Why not just say the office of the White House? Why not? The office of the Emperor of the Universe. It's just as real, by the way. It's just as real. The office of an old man named Joe Biden who doesn't have mental issues and physical problems. It's about as real as that, by the way. Because we all know Joe Biden is sick.com. A groundbreaking new study has found a stronger correlation between getting your way and calling for unity with the other side. Researchers found that when people get everything they want politically, they are 3 times more likely to call for unity and reconciliation with the losers they just humiliated. Quote, it was an extensive study of thousands of 3-year-olds and other liberals. Oh, yeah. All right, man. That led us to discovering this connection. This is Dr. Stan Lintel of MIT, who headed the study. We would observe a pair of children fighting over a toy. We would then step in and take the toy away from one child and give it to the other. The child we gave the toy to would immediately calm down and call for unity with the other child, even after punching them in the face several times. We found this tendency remained consistent all the way into adulthood. That's true. And what does it say? Researchers who released the findings pointed out that this strange human behavior could be manifesting itself during this year's election after Democrats immediately calmed down and called for unity after an intense 4-year temper tantrum. And here's the only disagreement I would actually have with that. The main disagreement, the main one that I would say, is that they actually did not calm down. It's part of this doublespeak. On the one hand, they are just completely pedal to the metal with this kind of stuff. That's what we talked about it yesterday. We talked about all of the different groups out there that are putting together a list. I've said I should be on it. In fact, I'm wearing multiple things right now that are screaming, put me on that list. Or I'm already there, folks. Which is why you got to share your boy's stuff. You got to share it, guys. You got to share your boy to all your friends and all your frenemies, family, colleagues, and coworkers. Got to do it. Got to do it. Because you don't know when it's going to come for me. But you know it's on its way. You know it's on its way. I'm actually surprised that I haven't been, people haven't come at me. I'm like, dude, I think it's because I'm a huggable, lovable kind of guy. I just do. I think I'm huggable, lovable, and I tell funny stories. And so, they're kind of like, well, yeah, he does say really controversial stuff and he's being really mean toward people playing the video game in the brain or calling individuals satanic and demonic and stuff like that. It's true. He's revealing tons of truth bombs left and right. But man, he's kind of fun. And he's handsome too. Let's see here. Yeah, but this is an example of this. God says, if I eat this, I'll die. Independent fact checkers have proven this to be false. And this is what I'm saying. In fact, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He was talking about fact checkers and, that we really need to have these, fact checkers. And I agree with that. But we need fact checkers to fact check the fact checkers. The fact check the fact checkers. It really is one of those things. And if people don't believe that, almost always, if you look at it, you say, it's kind of weird how their view almost always turns out to be that if you just follow the facts, you're going to be a raging progressive secular liberal. You go, oh, it's kind of convenient. But it's true. It's how that works, man. And we have to be more like this. We got to be more like this. I got a couple videos here. Let's see here.
Senator, have you congratulated Vice President Biden yet?
No.
Why not?
He left. Have you, congratulated Senator Biden for being president-elect? No. Did you hear, like, how matter-of-factly? No. Why not, sir? Why not? And he's like, I have nothing to congratulate him about. That's how you have to be, guys. You have to be this way. You have to, look, you saw it yesterday. How many haters came in here? I like it, by the way. When haters come in, they help. They help us. And so, you help it move along. I had haters come in. And what did I do with them? Bwam, bwam, bwam. Right? Just knocking them to the side. Squishing them under the thumb. Making sure you are done. It's what I did over and over and over. And kept smiling and marching on. Even telling harsh truths. Saying, like, one lady saying, I voted for Biden. And I'm going to pray for you. Kind of thing. And I just straight up told her, I said, look, if you voted for somebody who believes in the genocide of babies, and you voted for somebody who's perfectly fine with castrating young boys and removing the breasts of future mothers, and you're okay with that, if that's the world that you're in, then your prayers are more like witchcraft. And I don't know if the Lord is actually in all interested in that. He would be much more interested if you took a knee for Jesus Christ. Move on. Those are truth statements. I'm not going to get wrapped up with that. I'm going to let them know and keep on marching along, because there's a lot of those people out there. Tell them the truth, march on, just like this guy did. Because ultimately, it's a little bit like this. Let's go ahead and here we go. Breaking news. Here we go. This is the world we live in. Tell me if you identify with this virus.
Orange man bad.
Orange man bad.
Orange man.
Orange man bad. Orange man bad. Diversity is our strength. Gender is a social construct. White people must be abolished. Real communism hasn't been tried yet. He will not divide us. This need is dehumanizing.
Why?
Yes. Remember I said yesterday, because nobody just sat there and said, wait a second. Nobody's asking the question, why? Why are you doing that? In fact, it's weird. There's a prime for this. The secular community does it all the time. They don't like why questions, man. They don't like why questions. And they always lump it in with, well, why is that tree there, mommy? Why is that tree there? It's there to give us shade. And they're like, well, these are stupid answers. We don't like the questions why. They want to know how. And you sit there and you're like, hey, why? And you've got to ask. But the thing is, we're surrounded by people. We're surrounded by, for those who don't understand what that is, those are NPCs. These are people who, they're non-playable characters. I've been playing Red Dead, right? I've been playing Red Dead Redemption. I actually have to get a new version, man. It's a lot of glitches in there. Not as many glitches as the voting systems that we've got, but a lot of glitches, man. It's happening. It's pretty bad. But you'll come up to these non-playable characters. You walk up and they're stock people, right? You bump into them. Whoa, buddy, what's going on, mister? You bump into them again. Whoa, buddy, what's going on? And kind of that thing. You don't play those people, right? They repeat. They're programmed in a certain way. And that's what so many people have become. These mindless bots that all the time are sitting there. I believe whatever Facebook is determining is true. That's where we are, guys. That's where we are. But we need to understand something. Is that the people who count the votes, that ultimately they decide everything. And there's a debate. And I don't know how far I want to push this. But the idea that during the campaign, Joe Biden bragged that he'd put together, quote, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. Perhaps he wasn't exaggerating, or perhaps was it a Freudian slip? Do I want to push it that far? I don't know. But right here, back in October 2016, Barack Obama, this is over at American Greatness, by the way, AmericanGreatness.com, AMGreatness.com. Back in October 2016, Barack Obama upbraided Donald Trump for suggesting that the election might be rigged. Impossible, said Obama. There's no serious person out there who suggests that you could even rig America's elections, in part because they're so decentralized. There's no evidence that that has happened in the past or that there are instances that that could happen this time. Interestingly enough, that was before the 2016 election, where people started to all of a sudden blame Russia. They started to blame Russia for it. I know, because people were calling me a shill. They were saying, oh, dude, I think the Jeremiah, I think the old Paleocrat, I think he's involved in some kind of Russian scheme. Maybe he's one of Putin's stooges making a bunch of rubles on the DL. I still haven't gotten those rubles, man. Maybe they're paying me in vodka, you know what I'm saying? Or really bad Russian accents. A crisis of legitimacy. Here's the question. And ask yourself this. How are you feeling about the integrity and trust in our institutions? Now, in particular, the integrity of our elections. That's a question that Americans are going to have to ask themselves more and more and more. And the people who right now are pretending that there's nothing wrong and that they're falling back on pre-2016 arguments, which leads us to one of two conclusions. Either they were lying back then, not only to themselves, but to the entire world, or they are lying now to themselves and the entire world. Pick your poison and choke on it. Pick your poison and choke on it. Because if you don't believe that it's possible, then the idea of hack the election, that entire meme, fake, phony. And by the way, it is. But not because it's impossible, but because we know for a fact, after having studied and investigated, they made it too specific. They made it too specific. They said Russia hacked the election. That's what they said. The more specificity you give to something, okay? So the more specific you make a certain claim, the harder that claim is going to be to actually prove, because if it's general, that's easier to prove. It's a general statement, right? You're saying, oh, I'm keeping it a little bit fast and loose, and more stuff can kind of fumble its way into it. Whereas if you make it specific and you start to say things like this, like, my show is the #1 show broadcasting on my channel from 10 to noon Eastern time, broadcasting out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, hosted by Jeremiah Bannister. If I say that, that's mega specific, right? And so if anything falls outside of that, it's disproven. And you go, oh, it's not the #1 on your channel from that time to that time. Or it's not hosted by Jeremiah Bannister. I'd be like, who's hosting it? What other shows are on my channel? What's going on with this, man? Some sort of a conspiracy. But these people, they blamed Russia. They blamed him for hacking the emails. Of course, we find out that ain't real. That's phony baloney sauce. Ain't no Russia hacking of the emails. Proven, by the way. In fact, impossible. Impossible. You should ask Mr. Binney about that. He has a really great breakdown of how that happened. And not just him. You can go to a lot of different people who talk about this and as to why it would, there's no way, given what we know about the emails, the size of the emails, how long it took to extract information from the emails, when the group was in, when the group was out, and a great many other factors, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. And it's funny, I actually talk about that in my video, when Satan called my cell phone. I talk about that. That was to do with David Smalley. So here's the thing, hammer and scorecard. I mentioned this. I said, I don't really know how to feel about this. And I didn't want to talk about it at the time, kind of like the Sharpie thing. Some of these claims may come, some of these things may go, and I don't want to invest in them if there's no information beyond, kind of first claims. I don't want to do that. It's better to hold off sometimes, because that will also make you ahead of the curve. You can sit there and say, I'm holding off on this. And it's not the idea of being the first to something. It's the idea of being early to the group that was correct. And that's what I try to do on the show. The Hammer is a counterintelligence surveillance program used to spy on activities on protected networks like voting machines without detection. It was originally developed after 9/11 to monitor international threats and to spy on potential hostile bad actors. I think, in fact, they even showed this particular one with some of these quotes. The least detectable form of election manipulation because it works during data transfer between voting stations and data storage hubs. Unless both sides are looking for irregularities, it's impossible to catch. It's nefarious forces. If nefarious forces had people on one side or the other or both during data transfer, it cannot be exposed. Sidney Powell talks about it. 3% of the election, pre-election vote may have been altered by these tools. Same thing with General Thomas McInerney. Is he a general? Yeah, Air Force General. There you go. And that's something that we're going to talk about. But here's this. You don't even have to go down that road. You can go here to the National Pulse. Cortez, the statistical case against Biden's win by Steve Cortez. He goes through each one of these things. And if you want to know more about these, because we got to blow through, there's a bunch of this stuff. If you want to see more, the breakdown in each of these, I strongly encourage you to go and start showing up on these sites. Start sharing them. And when you do, say, look, I saw this on Paleocrat, tag me, mention me, whatever. It always helps. Turnout. Clearly a high turnout was expected in an intensely political year with vastly expanded access to mail-in voting. But the kinds of numbers reported simply defy reasonable expectation. For example, Wisconsin, overall, the turnout was above 90% of registered voters, even in a state with same-day registration. Such numbers seem implausible. Okay. So you have situations like Milwaukee, right here. Even more importantly, looking within the Wisconsin vote, the decisive locale for Biden was Milwaukee. Wisconsin's largest city reported an 84% turnout for that. Again, improbable. Not saying impossible, but we're talking about the scales of probability. Big time. But Milwaukee's 84% turnout dwarfs Cleveland's more believable 51% turnout rate. Like many of the suspect statistical trends evident from last Tuesday, the abnormal factors favoring Biden seem only present, and this is key, by the way, in the key swing states that Biden allegedly won. It's true. It's true. Going back to this. Outperformance versus Obama. We already saw this, where the idea that Joe Biden outperformed Obama, that it was like, oh no, we're going to just crush him. The idea, because Trump did. The idea that Biden's like, oh yeah, man, people are super, super pumped about Joe Biden when he's showing up to rallies with like 5 people there, and that it was based on hatred, not excitement. In fact, his base is completely shattered. I mean, they are really in trouble because there's no agreement amongst the different groups. That's what happens with diversity. You're balkanizing the daylights out of your party, which is why when they say, we'll accept anybody, we are a big tent. Yeah, good job with that. I dare you to go and try. You can find out just how big tent they are by the people that are out, as well as the people who are complaining about the absolute bludgeoning they got down ballot. It's why, does Nancy Pelosi even have the votes right now to be Speaker of the House? Biden-only ballots. We see that. What is it? Joe Biden saw an astounding surplus of 95,801 votes over the Democratic Senate candidates. Just Biden. That's all. Just Biden. 95,000. Unbelievable, man. Statistically, once again, let's be specific. Improbable, not impossible. And of course, again, this is happening in states that were really important for the Dems. Absence of mail-in vote vetting. We talked about this. We talked about this when it came to the BBC. In fact, I just showed that article a second ago. If you want to share some with your friends, and it's a breakdown of rigging elections, BBC News has a great one. How to spot the telltale signs. Those telltale signs, by the way, each and every one, if it's a checklist, Biden, 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 each and every time. Each and every time. It's stunning. rigged. Here's the conclusion. The statistical case in isolation does not prove fraud. But the confluence of highly unlikely results does emphatically paint a picture of utter improbability. Any one of these four factors would alone cast intense doubt on election results, but you put all four of them together, and the result is a seemingly impossible statistical perfect storm. To use a sports analogy, it would be a team pitching a perfect game in the World Series. Not one game, not two, but in all four games to sweep via pitching perfection. Is it possible? Theoretically, yeah. Is it probable? Heck no. Heck no. And so we must commence with a vigorous audit as the future of our republic hangs in the balance. True. And this is the point. You look and you say, each one of these things is and that's why, look, be grateful that we're talking about the difference between something being definite and something being probable, and the scales of probability, and what that means if those things are put together, that it makes something even less likely to be true. You are educated in a way, right? If you weren't already, and many of you are, but this is the kind of thing that can actually make a compelling case. It can make a compelling case against the prevailing narrative that's going on, not only in the mainstream media, but ultimately with your friends in your news feeds. Share it. Right here, the Epoch Times, tens of thousands of Pennsylvania ballots returned earlier than sent date, according to a researcher. This is the crazy thing, by the way. More than 20,000 absentee ballots in Pennsylvania have impossible return dates. Impossible. So now we're in the realm, by the way, of impossibility. And we're talking 20,000. That's a big number. And another more than 80,000 have return dates that raise questions, according to a researcher's analysis of the state voter database. Unbelievable. Over 51,000 ballots were marked as returned just a day after they were sent out. An extraordinary speed given U.S. Postal Service, USPS delivery times, while nearly 35,000 were returned on the same day when they were mailed out. Another more than 23,000 have a return date earlier than the send date. More than 9,000 have no sent date. Again, lots and lots of problems going on, and that's in Pennsylvania. Lindsey Graham says potentially 25,000 nursing home residents in different nursing homes requested mail-in ballots at the exact same time. Again, what is the statistical odds of this? And how does he say it? He says, I've got more information. This is a quote. We're now finding potentially that 25,000 nursing home residents in different nursing homes requested mail-in ballots at the exact same time. Oh, that's neat, because you can't ballot harvest in Pennsylvania. So what are the odds? Again, we're talking probability, folks. We're talking mathematics. This is a scientific way of looking at this. People in different locations of the same age group requested at the same time a ballot. What's the likelihood of that? Somebody is up to no good in these nursing homes. Oh, dude, totally true. Totally true. Again, each one of these things, improbability, 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 more and more and more and more. It ain't even close, because on the other side, do you know what they've got? Me no see nothing. That's what they've got. Me no see nothing. You are lying. Me no listen. That's what they're saying. Little baby talk people. Little baby talk people. There's nothing wrong. How about this one, by the way? How about that? How about that graph right there? That graph, that red line is Trump's trajectory. That right there is the closing minutes there of the election. Was this one from Pennsylvania, or was it just as a whole? Think it as a whole. You sit there and you got Biden beneath, and all of a sudden you see that weird little, very unnatural looking uptick. Looks like a brick was slapped onto the top of a ball. Do you know what that is? Those right there, those are the votes. Those are the votes that came in after everyone was told to go to sleep, because we're gonna find some ballots. That's exactly what this is. Oh, no, it's not a coinky-dink. I know. We did tell everybody to go to sleep, but we kept working. No one was able to see it, but we kept working. Yeah, maybe a bunch of bags of ballots came in all over to very key places. And maybe, just maybe, all of those ballots were like 100% for Biden, which resulted in this very super dupe, fake looking, unnatural curve. It's not a curve, man. It is straight up fraud. And overall, you got to go check this out. You got to go check out the site. It's over at Gateway Pundit. Complete list of suspected fraud issues in 2020 election, sorted by state with recommended actions and how to address it. You got to go. If you want to know how to address it, what are the issues right now? What is it that we're dealing with? What are we up against? Go to that website, man. By the way, Gateway Pundit is a great site, right? They have a number of different writers. They're covering all these different issues. It's similar. It's like a newspaper, basically. But I don't think they don't do weather. They don't do weather. Trump's director of Election Day operations tweets a photo of Republican poll watchers on the no entry list in Philly. Again, one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. Oh, look at that. Ain't that quaint? Republican, don't let him in. Republican, 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 don't let him in. What are the odds of that? What are the odds, kids? What are the odds of that? Yeah. No entry, no entry, no entry, no entry. This is the way it's going to roll, guys. Don't let them in. Why? Why, by the way? Why not let them in? Included on the list was Corey Lewandowski, a senior advisor to the campaign who was denied entry. Of course. You've got this too. This is actually really stunning, guys. I don't know if you're even aware of this. I don't know if you're even aware of this. Breaking. Project Veritas releases shocking recordings of federal agents trying to intimidate USPS whistleblower into recanting election fraud claim. Dude, totally true. Think about this. I am actually, this is a quote, by the way, from the USPS Office of IG. I am trying to twist you a little bit, because in that, believe it or not, he's talking about his memory's coming back clear. We'll go ahead and just listen. Can we just play just that clip alone? Let's see here. Let's see if we can just play it. I don't know how long this is.
They were grilling the hell out of me.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm kind of pissed. I feel like I just got played.
And I heard him say to the supervisor that they messed up yesterday. I was like, oh, what did they mess up on? And he told the supervisor that they had postmarked one of the ballots for the 4th instead of the 3rd, because they were supposed to put them for the 3rd.
Yeah. Right here. Okay, so right here it is. So that gives you the backdrop. That gives you the backdrop. Now listen here. Listen to what is being said.
And so let me make good on that promise.
I'm gonna get off here so you can read it.
This storm is getting crazy, right? And it's out of a lot of people's control. And so the reason they called me in is to try to harness that storm, try to reel it back in before it gets really crazy. Okay?
I understand.
Because we have senators involved, we have the Department of Justice involved, we have
Trump's lawyers team's gotten a hold of me.
I'm not. Well, I am actually. I am trying to twist you a little bit because in that, believe it or not, your mind will kick in.
Okay.
We like to control our mind. And
listen to that, by the way. Listen to that. Okay. I'm trying to twist you a little bit because, you know, when we do that, we can convince ourselves of a memory. So he's accusing, saying, look, you've convinced yourself that you have seen this. And we like to control our mind, and you're liking to believe that you saw it. But let me perform the magic on you. Let me perform the weird psyop crap on you. This is scary, by the way. This right here, this is the USPS Office of IG. This dude right here is full-blown psyop land, man. Full-blown psyop. And he's like, look, you may have thought you heard this, but you didn't. Believe me, Biden is awesome. Don't believe your eyes, man. Don't believe your eyes. We would never do anything like that. We only endorsed Biden. Oh, man. Oh, man. Keep going.
when we do that, we can convince ourselves of a memory. But when you're under a little bit of stress, which is what I'm doing to you purposely, your mind can be a little bit clearer. And we're going to do a different exercise too to make your mind a little bit clearer. Okay?
Good to go.
So, but this is all on purpose.
Roger.
I'm not scaring you, but I am scaring you here.
It seems like they were trying to make me distrust y'all.
Yeah. Oh, imagine that. Did you hear that, by the way? I'm not trying to scare you, but I am trying to scare you. Hoink, hoink. And so, dude, double speak outside both sides of the mouth. And this guy's going, it seems like they're trying to make me distrust y'all. But does he? But and oh, just so you know, the mainstream media ran with this, and the Democratic Party ran with it and said that this guy right here recanted what he said. Oh, is that so? There's a transcript of this. Oh, you guys are so busted. You are so busted. And will they retract it? Heck no, they won't. Heck no, they won't. And you know what? Project Veritas has a pretty good court record, kind of like WikiLeaks, by the way.
And at the same time, it kind of affected, but at the same time, I was like, nah, these guys have had my back since the get-go. So that's why I continued.
Do you think these federal agents have your back?
At this point, no. Hell
Do you
no.
think these federal agents are really interested in investigating fraud?
Honestly, I don't think they are.
And in fact, you heard Weisenberg tell a supervisor they were backdating the ballots to make it appear they'd been collected on November 3rd. You still stand by that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Do you still stand by that? Did you hear that? Yes. So when people go, oh no, he recanted that, show them this video. Share the video. Share my video. Timestamp that bad boy. Timestamp that bad boy. In the comments, Graciela, am I pronouncing it properly? If so, I love that name. Your channel is truly great. America needs to listen the truth, and your channel is giving us that glorious truth. Thank you very much, by the way. I appreciate that. I appreciate that big time. Let's see here. Another comment. I was praying on the beach of Lake Michigan yesterday. It was sprinkling and cloudy. I asked God to walk with me while I keep faith in our country and help me make the right choices, not to follow the wrong path. Then I said, my mind is stressed, my heart is heavy, my soul is tired. The clouds parted and the sun shined, and it shined on so bright, and a sense of warmth came over me. I took a deep breath and said, all right. Then it went back to clouds and no sun. It was a little surreal. Never have I felt God's presence like that. I'm asked in the questions here, or in the comments. I'll drop this one up. Let's go ahead and drop this up real quick, so that I can go ahead and is that where I want it? Yes. Here we go. All right. So James asks, what do you think of Maidengate? Women's maiden names being used for votes. I'm a big fan of Ali Alexander. I believe he's the guy spearheading that. I actually went and I looked up my wife's name yesterday, the maiden name. I did it and did not see anything, right? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. The thing is, I believe that it is a large number of factors all over the place. And I think that all of these things, it's so spread out and so vast using little thing here, little thing there, little thing here, that you sit there and it makes it difficult to talk about, because people be like, well, can't you stick with one topic? And you say, can't you stick with one way of trying to steal an election? You guys are pretty good at this, actually. You guys are pretty good at this. You somehow, super duper mega deep state tech. You know how to do it. You know how to organize these groups to get these fake ballots. You know how to raise people from the dead. You know how to make it so that dogs and cats can vote. And 25,000 old nursing homes, old people in nursing homes at the exact same moment. 25,000 different ones at the same moment saying, bring them on in, we need them. Edith and Earl and Elmer, Herbert, they all need it. It's so unlikely that at this point, right, that scale is so heavy on our side, it's digging a hole to China. It's digging a hole to China, which I think some of this, by the way, the Chinese bot farms, you want to talk about that? It's interesting because all this time people are like, look at the Russian bots, look at the Russian trolls, look at the Russian bots. And lo and behold, guess what? You go through and you start doing an analysis of it, and lo and behold, there's a whole bunch of Chinese ones. And those people on the other side, zipping the lip. Zipping the lip. They don't want to say anything about it. They don't want to say anything about it. Let's see. Teresa says, no one in northern Michigan ever knows what I'm talking about unless they are transplants and my age. I'm not, What do I think of Sir Graves Ghastly? What is Sir Graves Ghastly? I don't know. I don't know what Sir Graves Ghastly is. You're going to have to share that with me. Paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. I'd love to know. Yeah. According to the Associated Press, they don't determine this. They don't. Oh. Yeah, James says, to Mississippi, Miss USA, you ain't black. Sincerely, Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Bethany says, on Sunday, during tense moments during a rally, my husband quieted the crazy crowd and prayed for one of the BLM leaders. They even quieted down. It was an amazing reminder of God's presence. And that's the thing. We can talk all day long and fill our mind with a bunch of information, but if it doesn't penetrate into our heart, and if it's not animated by that renewed spirit within us that only God can give by his grace and through faith, then we're just hosed. We're nothing but, we're no different than anybody else that says we just need to download a bunch of information. The soul doesn't matter. But it does. Let's see. I did notice that Joe and Kamala's gifts and stickers have disappeared. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good thing, by the way. Zach says FBI leaders are part of the deep state. Totally 100 bazillion percent. 100 bazillion gazillion percent. Yes, man. FBI leaders, dude, that's small group stuff. People want to know about the small group. They got to go. What's that? What's the frog legs, man? What is that? There's a. Oh man, it's gonna kill me. Conservative Treehouse shares this video series from. Part of it is frog legs in it. It's a guy. He's really funny. It's a smattering of stuff, kind of bipolar, like this. A little itty bit. But if you want to know about the deep state, you want to know about the small group, stuff like that. You want to know about that, you got to go to the Conservative Treehouse. Sundance is #1 on that, son. KMO, you can get a controller for your PC. Bro, you got to send me a link to some of these, man, because I'm getting more accustomed to the idea of the controller for Xbox. I'm moving beyond the really easy, original Nintendo and the Wii and stuff like that. I used to play GameCube and I used to play PlayStation, so I'm familiar with, controllers with multiple keys on them. I would definitely like to have one of those. I have a Mac. Yeah, even adapters for consoles and use an emulator. Dude, bro. Like how I'm playing FF12. What is FF12, by the way? On a PS2 emulator while listening to you now. What is that, dude? What is FF12? Joe says, I missed the roller rink. So happy to be able to listen to you. Dude, yes. Hey, man, I am very grateful. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it, man. Nathaniel Richards, I still subscribe to my local newspaper to get the Sunday comics in color. Last Sunday's paper had Biden wins on it. I didn't read the cover pages stories. Really, just want the color comics. It's true. I understand you. I understand you. I'm with you on that. Let's see here. James says, yeah, about people making lists of Trump people. Santa has a list too, and he's checking it twice because those people are not being nice. Those people are the ones. And look, anytime in history, throughout history, when you see political parties, especially ones that were outraged, they were on fire for 40 years, saying the craziest crap, Trump derangement syndrome to such an extreme that they're sitting there rolling Play-Doh, blowing bubbles, trying to make their brains slow down. Bless their heart. But when those people, filled with hate and rage and the kind of messed up brain that while being filled with hate, while being filled with rage, can put signs out in the front yard that say, love Trump's hate, love Trump's hate, let's burn MAGA people to the ground. That's the kind of people we're talking about when they ascend to power. When all of a sudden, those people are in power and they start making lists. That never turns out good, by the way. It never does. Never in all of human history has it turned out good. Never, never, never. It says here, when Zach says, when Democrats get their way, it's not divisive. But when Republicans get their way, it's divisive. And that's why we just have to understand the way that games work. I'm a little bit Machiavellian, right? And I'm not lying about that. I'm admittedly a little bit Machiavellian in my realism, my political realism, and I know the game and I know how the game is played, and to some degree you got to roll with that, and you got to just know, at least to know the other side. Not to say that you need to lack any kind of integrity. That's why I'm sticking with articles that we would be able to actually go to replicate or to verify or to find out if it's true. I'm not just throwing around a bunch of ideas. And that's why I show the articles to you. You can see them for yourself. And I show videos to you. You can see it and you can hear it. But the thing is you have to know, how does the enemy operate? How does the enemy, when it comes to politics, when it comes to religion, when it comes to culture, that's why we talk so much about critical theory. We've kind of taken a little hiatus for now because we're in, red alert land. That's what we are dealing with. And that stuff is going to come down the pike, no matter what. No matter what, this is actually a long game for these people. They've been at it for a very long time. And so, but you have to know what they're doing. You have to know the way the game is played. Otherwise, you're going to sit there and get caught up in the whataboutism. And you can't, where it's like, well, what about that? Well, what about this person? It's lollipop land, candy land logic when it comes to morals. Okay, let's say that person is in fact, at least it's not the end of the moral argument. You can use that as a termite tactic to say, I'm going to make this person, their case not be so compelling by pointing out the grotesque hypocrisy. But that's not the end of the argument, because if it was, let's say you proved the hypocrisy, does that mean it's okay for you? Is your argument, I want to be a hypocrite too? What is the end of that argument? We have to be superior to that. Facebook has censored my Catholic pages. This is Linda. By now, do not appear as reminders. I'm really sorry to hear that, by the way. Linda Hernandez. Yeah. Maybe you can list some of those pages and people can go and see and maybe even share some of them. And thank you for letting us know. James asked, who watches The Watchmen? Great question. That's what you got. That's my point. That's my point ultimately about not just The Watchmen, of course, but fact checkers. That's what that is. That as sloppy as it is, as Wild West as it is, it's better that we have a wildly diverse national and international set of fact checkers, and that it's free market. It's superior. It's superior. It's way better than having one group, because if you had one group, goodness gracious, that's why nobody believes anymore. That's why nobody believes what's going on when it comes to, stuff to do with coronavirus. Because we're being fed this line, you got to follow the CDC, you got to follow World Health. And then you find out not only that they're changing their position and always doing it and there's a level of fairness to this by saying, well, new information came in. We learned something new about this. Okay, I got you. I hear you. But if that's going to be the way this rolls, then when you come up with a certain position, right, like, I don't know, the one you just abandoned, you cannot couple that with the idea that if somebody disagrees with that they're going to be kicked off of social media. Because what are you going to do? How do you restore that? People should be able to sue the ever-living snot out of you for doing that. That's why Facebook, all these social media groups, man, they got to go. And there's a good argument. I saw somebody criticizing the idea, there's, people who are saying maybe social media has just got to go. It's just got to go. And people can bring up the positives all day long of this, but to deny the overwhelming net negative of what social media has done to this great American republic and to people, to morals, to ideas, to values, and everything else. It can only be said by people who actually do not really understand the idea of how the medium is, in fact, the message. And that's important. They got to do it. Let's see. Sir Grave Ghastly was a persona I watched. I watched it as a child when I lived in Warren. He was a host for Scary Movies. Is that okay? See, I remember a guy they called the Ghoul. I don't know if that's the same guy, Sir Grave Ghastly, but there was another dude who hosted Scary Movies and stuff, and he was called the Ghoul. Yeah, my dad was into that. All right. Moving on. Trump campaign files lawsuit in Pennsylvania alleging the creation and implementation of illegal two-tiered voting system for election. This would be terribly problematic. And by terribly problematic, I mean like grotesquely illegal. Quote, voters in Pennsylvania were held to different standards simply based on how they chose to cast their ballot. And we believe this is so genius, by the way. Dang. So genius, dude. And we believe this two-tiered election system resulted in potentially fraudulent votes being counted without proper verification or oversight. How about this one? If you voted in person, there was a time limit on when your vote could be cast. But if you were voting by mail, you could keep going and going and going, and they're going to continue. They're going to continue to count those ballots. Even if it doesn't have a date on it. Oh, look at that. Even if it doesn't have a signature on it, even if different things within it are not working out properly, they'll figure out a way. We've got it. We've got them good. Stunning. Sworn affidavit from former Michigan assistant AG. Election worker assigned new names. This is what I'm talking about. Assigned new names to voters when it appeared absentee ballot was from person who already voted. Think about that. Just think about it. So you're sitting there and you're like, okay, so now we've got a sworn affidavit, and these people don't even care. They're like, oh no. And this just bolsters the case that it is contested, which is what we talked about earlier, which is why nobody in their right mind should be referring to Biden as president-elect. And of course, this is in Wayne County. Election officials allowed illegal, unlawful, and fraudulent processing of votes cast in last Tuesday's election. Numerous witnesses have filed sworn affidavits under oath as to all of this kind of, unlawful crap. The Great Lakes Justice Center has a filing, and an attorney and former Michigan Assistant Attorney General was a certified poll challenger at the TCF Center. Okay. It's Zachary Larson. And it goes through and it shows how. It shows what was going on. He reviewed the running list of scanned-in ballots in the computer system, where it appeared that the voter had already been counted as having voted. An official operating the computer then appeared to assign this ballot to a different voter, as he observed a completely different name that was added to the list of voters at the bottom of a running tab of processed ballots on the right side of the screen. Wow, dude. Wow, that's really neat. He was concerned that this practice of assigning names and numbers indicated that a ballot was being counted for a non-eligible voter who was not in either the poll book or the supplemental poll book. From his observations of the computer screen, the voters were not in the official poll book. That's not looking good. Not looking good, man. Super bad here. How about this super bad? Again, Michigan. Analysis finds over 10,000 dead people. Returned mail-in ballots in Michigan. That's neat. That's a miracle. Look at it, guys. Look at the miraculous thing going on. The dead have come back to life, and they voted for Joe Biden. Hallelujah. These people, dude. These people. Do you think we ain't going to figure this out, homie? An analysis of votes in Michigan has found that over 10,000 dead people returned mail-in ballots in the state. The study was conducted by Richard Barris, the director of Big Data Poll. To find out more about that, check that out. We got to keep cooking. These articles, again, if you remember these articles, you say, I like that article, I want to know more. You go to it. I'm providing you right now with vast amounts of evidence that you can use to train yourself to be part of that public message, which even me and my hat are part of. And my shirt, by the way. Proud of those fellas. Felt like a drug deal. Asian American ballot observer in Detroit describes a mysterious van dropping off 61 boxes of ballots at 4 a.m. Oh, that's neat. That's neat. Everybody was going to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. There's a mysterious van dropping off 61 boxes. It's what's happening, dude. You see it. And the lady's like, look, man, it felt like a freaking drug deal. It felt like a drug deal. It's crazy. Then all of a sudden, President Trump had a lead in Michigan. Then all of a sudden, Joe Biden jumped 200,000 votes and has the lead over President Trump. 200,000. Wow, man. It's like manna from heaven. Or, 61 boxes from hell. That's what it is. Michigan Senator Patrick Kolbeck gives sworn testimony, quote, we've got visual confirmation routers and Wi-Fi connectors used throughout the TCF center during ballot counting. He even has, by the way, look, they've got screenshots. They've got screenshots to show where everything is. Oh, look at that. Locked in. TCF, ACF. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that is so cute. Kolbeck later examined the physical cabling connections between all the computers in the facility. The IT technician on the stage actively discouraged any close-up observation of the network. Oh, yeah, of course. We'd rather you not look at, all of this. Patrick drew this diagram of what he witnessed. Look at that, folks. If you would like to see the diagram, right there it is, by the way. Right there it is. Confirmed wireless router. Confirmed Ethernet router. Probable Ethernet router. Confirmed. Yes, you got it over here. Oh, and look at this. Look at that. Ain't that quaint? Unbelievable. So they speak to him about it, by the way. They go and talk to him. Poll challenger. This is big league politics. Poll challenger claims Detroit poll worker tasked with duplicating ballots were functionally illiterate. It's unbelievable. The most stunning revelation came from a grandmother who made a horrifying discovery while poll challenging at the TCF Center in Detroit. She observed that two people hired by the city of Detroit to scrutinize ballots were not able to read. Am I making it a little bit hard, guys? Am I making it a little hard? You're like, oh, you having trouble with this? Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of trouble. I can't read. And by the way, people who teach this kind of stuff, which this lady does, by the way, that's what she does. She's a tutor for remedial reading to 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And she deals with people who can't. I know how that works. I had that same situation where when I was in the Navy, I was in basic training, I was the education petty officer. So I was the one commissioned throughout my entire time there. And one of the best on the base, in fact. I was in the top 10% of the entire base. I got meritoriously advanced. But and I trained other educational petty officers who were trained to do this. I trained them at the main complex there. So the thing is, I had a guy, he was sitting there, he was really struggling with the tests, man. He was really struggling to know even really basic things. And I started to figure it out. I'm like, I don't think this guy knows how to read. And he didn't only not know how to read, he didn't know how to speak English. But you could tell, you could begin, and it's like, how did he even get here? Apparently his brother worked, one of the MEP centers, whatever. She talks about it. We mentioned this yesterday. Michigan AG, Dana Nessel, she's a gross sicko, pervert, sends cease and desist order to journalists demanding that he erase his Detroit Leaks video showing voter fraud training or face criminal prosecution. For what, man? For what? You sit there and you go, why is that a problem? Oh, it's kind of weird. Let's show this as evidence. What would you do, by the way, lady? What would you do, Dana? What would you do? Would you say, don't show it? They're not allowed to show it. We don't want those words on the screen. Oh, no. Because those words, we played them. We played the audio here. It is a completely amazing, mind-blowing thing to hear the people training poll workers, people training them, saying, look, this is how you keep them away so that poll watchers can't see what you're doing. Here's what you do to make sure even the young kids, they're out of the way. Ain't no thing. We can do this. Ha, ha, ha. Everybody laughing. Same thing with Nevada. Nevada poll worker alleges rampant electoral fraud for a crucial battleground county in a sworn affidavit. Totally true, by the way. And this is a poll worker. You're like, okay, so it's not a watcher. This is a poll worker. Blowing the whistle. Talking about, we were told by my team leader and 2 other assistants to advise people who wanted to register to vote and did not have the proper ID or driver's license that they could go out in the parking lot and make an appointment with the DMV to get a Nevada ID or driver's license and then bring in proof of their appointment confirmation, either a paper copy or show it on their phone to us, and they could be registered. Oh, that's neat. That's neat. That's like last minute crap. We'll talk about that another time. That's Dominion. That's Dominion. Well, in fact, we'll talk about Dominion tomorrow because that's big. Talk about that tomorrow. You know, Trump says you can't wait what you see what's coming, right? And we can have the kids getting ready to come down here because we're almost done. I'm not going to stick on long after 1 o'clock. I don't even know if I can. Don't even know if I can. I've been pushing it to the limit here, folks. I've been pushing it to the limit. Yeah, we'll save this stuff for tomorrow. Look, I'll leave it with this, okay? I'll leave it with this one. Talking about probability. Why did 6 battleground states with Democrat governors, except one, why did they all pause counting on election night? How was this coordinated? Why? Why did they all do that? Why? That's so novel for them to do. Why? How was it coordinated, by the way? There are several reports on election night that 5 battleground states quit counting on election night. That's stunning. Newsmax pointed out the coincidence. And by the way, follow Newsmax, follow One American News, cut Fox out of your life. Just get them out. You don't want nothing to do with them, believe me. They are out the door, guys, every single day. More and more and more and more and more, man. They're mainstream media anyway. They're mainstream media. They're pretenders. They try to pretend that they're still new to the game. We're not mainstream media. And you're like, dude, you totally are. It's 2020, you weirdos. Pointed out the coincidence of it happening in those 5 states with Democratic governors, except for Georgia, with Trump ahead before the pauses. So all these states before the pause, Trump is up. After the pause, magical boxes, magical ballots, magical unnatural curve. What we see with that, a major wall, a major spike. Wow, that's a neat looking spike you've got. It's convenient too, ain't it? Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and Nevada mysteriously quit counting after midnight. And then what happened? In Michigan, they dumped 138,000 votes for Biden in the middle of the night. Not one went for Trump. Wisconsin also dumped votes at 4 a.m., all for Biden. Look at that. Ain't that a thing? In Pennsylvania, Joe Biden received over 1 million votes after Election Day, over 1/3 of his totals. This happened over and over again. Why? Why did this happen at 11 p.m. on election night? Democrats knew they were getting trounced. Who organized the call? Americans have a right to know. If I can get the staff down here real quick. I'm hoping they're still tuned in. They better be. We're running low, guys. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Okay? I want to thank you for sticking with me, dude, through the really difficult stuff earlier. Okay? Super earlier. Because there was a lot going on. And by the way, okay, I got you. This is the funny thing. I got this. I have to deal with this. We didn't have a lot of them today. John Kimball, Trump lost. Get over it. Yeah, here's the thing, dude. We just went through statistically why that's actually highly improbable. We also went over how to deal with weirdos like you. That said there, Money Down says you're the kind of guy that when Trump won, you were devastated, probably blaming everything on Russia and probably talking for the next 4 years about every conspiracy theory in the world that each and every single time proved to be phony baloney sauce. But you know what? You feel good. You feel good because you got power now. So you think, even with the, do you call him president-elect, by the way? Are you relying on the new and updated, new and definitely not improved version of Wikipedia? Is that what you do, by the way? What a joke. Asking, why don't I get on my knees for the Donald? Because I only get on my knee for the Lord Jesus Christ. You guys are the sick perverts who do that kind of stuff. You're probably into, murdering babies and crap. You're probably into, pee-pee in the poo-poo stuff. Wouldn't doubt it. Or teaching kids that it's okay to castrate little boys and to cut the breasts off future mothers. You're probably down with all of that, you sick pervert. It's what it is. It's what it is. Yep. So the only time I really need to take you seriously is when I'm praying to the Lord for the salvation of your soul. Because if you're that kind of person, you are on a slippery slide straight to hell. And that is not a joke. It's just simply not a joke. So I wish you the best, buddy. I really do. We don't ever know when we're going to die. We have no clue, in fact, when we are going to die. Which is a really big deal. It is a really big deal. Let's see. Yeah, I hope somebody, if John Kimball walked out, I hope somebody lets him know. Tags him in there and says, hey, bro, we actually responded to you. We gave you a little, nudge. Gave you a little nudge. Yes, we only kneel for Christ the King, not the mob. Totally 100%. Where's Athen?
He's taking a test.
Oh, my son's taking a test, so he's not going to be able to do it. So, and Wolfgang is sleeping? Oh, no!
He's always sleeping.
Oh, no. Oh, no, dude. But hey, you know what? You know what it means? It means we got our little guy here. It means we've got our little dude, which his name is Little Lou. Okay? Look at this. You're inside the screen. So we're going to go ahead here. What we do every single time. You hear that? I love his little voice. Go, ow! You got to do it. Go, ow! Yeah. All right. I'm really grateful for each and every one of you. I'm grateful that you came along for the ride. Remember, we are here for you, and we love to do this every single weekday, 10 to noon. You can find out more about the show. You can find out more about my family, more about what we believe, and why we're doing what we're doing. And you can do that by going to paleocratdiaries.com. It's a great site. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff there today, including individual clips from the best segments of today's show. Oh, I love you guys. If you would like to interview me, if you'd like to debate, you want me to come do a speech, we'd absolutely love it. Make sure to email us, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. And until next time, as we do every time, never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off.
The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge, and maybe a funeral procession.